hello chat as well. Only a little. Only a little. And, oh, there we go. Okay, now chat can hear you too.
Yay! Hi, chat.
I have to press 2 buttons.
Oh, I have to put the Fuji on for tasks. Wait a minute. Oh my god. So much scuff. That's fine.
Oh.
I'm the little robot.
Hello, everyone. We are joined by
There you
Okami
are.
Sky and Cass.
Hello.
We're going to be chatting in general and watching Summer Game Fest together. There will be likely a lot of muting of Summer Game Fest during this. As much as this isn't like an industry show or similar, there is still the risk of stupid announcer nonsense.
Oh, I love
there's
stupid announcer nonsense.
There's a lot of things to pan there if you have the patience for it, but I don't blame people who don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. Like, we may watch it and chatter about how silly this looks, but until they start to pantomime that they're going to say something interesting, or at least until the closed captioning says that, I may have them muted so I don't have to be subjected to the stupid.
Oh my god, there's so many people watching right now.
As long as I don't get another person telling me that, like, there is some sort of, we care about the developers platform, and then immediately platform a bunch of producers who fired people last year, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that did happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was real bad.
Yeah,
real bad.
I do remember. Holy shit. It's all coming back to me now.
It's between nonsense like that and like stage shows, musical numbers, that kind of stupidity. It's
I like musical numbers.
that can be good. Like if it's, hey, we've got this group together to play something from a game or similar, that can be fine. But you're not a stage show. Like you're not a Broadway production. If it's about games, it should be directly about games, you know?
You're crushing their dreams here.
Oh, wait, we have an hour still, right?
Yeah, we still have 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know
We're
why
gonna
I thought
start.
They do have like
like
a pre-game thing, though.
A pre-game? Yeah. Okay, throw back those shots. Pre-gaming? Is that what we meant?
I feel like in order to watch the pregame, I would have to do that because notoriously it is real bad.
What is it about? I don't remember anything, bro. My brain is rotten.
The pregame is usually like them talking about games that have already been announced, and sometimes they'll have like a couple of indie game announcements that they put in there as well.
Okay.
But it's usually never any like the big studios or anything. They get their games announced in the pregame.
It seems like their indie game announcements happen after the initial block. I don't know if we'll be running long enough for us to make the decision to watch the next block after this.
I guess it depends on how late it goes, right?
Yep.
There's also they have been getting better at showing indie games in the middle of the block as well.
Yep. This being kind of their main number, and then they'll have they have a couple of follow-up ones. Or like multiple indie follow-up ones.
That, and around this time of year, you also start getting individual companies putting out their little versions of this as well. So we'll probably see something from Xbox and PlayStation at some point.
Can I have Final Fantasy Part 3 trailer?
Guy, I will personally find a way to gift you subs if that happens.
I don't need subs, it's fine. I just want to be right. It's all I want in this world.
I
Give me a
I would
trailer.
love it as well, but I can't do that to myself.
No, I'm
It is
gonna hold
way
out
too
hope.
early for that clown show.
No, I'm gonna hold out hope.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna get my clown
so-
makeup for you.
Okay, thanks. You can do my makeup for me.
It looks like 2 hours in, they'll be doing an indie block for, quote, Day of the Devs.
Oh,
What if-
you.
Okay, so what are we thinking? What are we gonna see?
Oh, we're doing predictions now? I like predictions.
Yeah, we're doing predictions.
Okay.
I mean, is
one
it
of
what
our-
do we want to see or what do we expect to see?
let's do what we expect to see first, and then we'll do what we want to see, because
We'll set the bar really low.
yes, we'll set the bar as low as humanly possible, so that all the things we come up with there would be cool ideas. Make us happy for a few minutes before the show actually starts.
So one of the things that we had been, Tess and I had been talking earlier, and I have doubts about them showing anything about Dragon Quest XII, because their most recent talk on it has been a great deal of radio silence followed by there are going to be delays, but we're working on it. But
Yeah.
that's not going to stop them from saying something. I kind of expect we're going to get a rehash of the tactics announcement from State of Play.
Oh my god, tactics.
Tactics is one of those games that stop calling so many things Final Fantasy. Tactics isn't Final Fantasy. It has been grafted onto 14 now, to some extent.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. It should have been its own thing. It's
it's Final Fantasy just in the nature of the classes, and that
Yeah.
is true of most of their Final Fantasy titles. I'm still of the mind that those should be a Final Fantasy game suffix, not Final Fantasy : title.
Yeah.
Especially not Final Fantasy number.
Yeah, I fully anticipate we will see that pop back up again, but I do think they wouldn't have announced it at State of Play if that was the only thing they were going to announce in this. So I do think they have something else.
I think we're gonna see Okami.
I do think well, actually, I would be surprised if we see Okami 2 that soon.
And well, not an announcement per se, but like maybe another trailer or something.
I still think it's too soon for that. Even I mean, that was just an announcement that it's in the works.
I'll hold out hope.
I would be surprised. I mean, if we want to get into things that we expect to happen, Jeff Keighley's going to get emotional about something.
True.
If we were playing bingo, that would be the free space. That happens every time. I would anticipate that we will get. What's been a while, but we absolutely haven't seen anything for. There's a
Grand
bunch
Theft
of
Auto?
shooters. Well, GTA 6. I could see us getting like a gameplay trailer or something, but I don't. Since it's been delayed to next year.
Yeah,
it'd be
we
hard to-
wouldn't be seeing. Well, I mean, we could. They might have already had something together, you know.
Yeah.
But it would definitely have that caveat of, oh yes, and we delayed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm betting something Helldivers.
Definitely possible. I am interested. Chad is asking, the one right beside me, this is Okami Sky,
Hello.
one of my friends.
I am
and,
a ghostly wolf deity. Hello.
Similar color scheme, but complete dissonance as far as thematics.
What do you mean?
Or
I'm supposed to be your mom. Don't you remember?
I still love that was like one of the first questions we got about a collab was, is that supposed to be your mom?
Not even the right
Uh-huh.
species, but sure, why not? Whatever.
It's the color scheme.
It very much is the color scheme.
It also has
Uh,
something to do with the proportions of your models as well.
yes.
Yeah.
For those that are newer to the channel, I did put out a size chart at one point. Despite the fact that we have made ourselves similar size right next to each other for the purposes of the stream and visibility, I believe I come up to her shoulders at best.
If that.
What's the height of your character?
She's about 6'3" if you don't include
Oh
the
my god,
ears.
you're about 2 foot 3 inches taller than Newt.
I think that's gonna reflect a lot better in my new model as well.
Nanotypes are about 4 feet tall.
Oh, I love it.
For this session, I get to be just a little catbot, so I am, what, like 2 foot tall? Is that how big the catbots are?
They're supposed to be about 3.
Hang on.
Not that tiny, Task. Come on now.
I mean, if we were using Noida as a gauge, they are like 1.5 feet tall at best.
They're about half the height of the witch.
Okay, but the witch is like one of those lanterns that he can hold goes up to like his chest when it's on the ground. So
But they're proportional to like shotguns and sticks of dynamite and whatnot.
okay, I just
Those
want
are
to say
just
that
gigantic lanterns.
yeah, let's just never use Noida as a size comparison again because size is not possible in that game.
The backtracking is real.
Yeah, they call them wands, but they've got to be like 2/3 of a quarterstaff in size.
Yes, they're gigantic. Some of them
Oh yeah, the
look
big ones
like,
are like 6 feet tall, and you hold it at like
Yeah.
the end in one hand.
Yep.
Big enough to be underslung cannons, you know?
Like four quarter staffs taped together in a weird shape.
I would kind of like to see that in a magical setting personally, where the wands and similar magical things follow a tech progression that would make sense. Like, if there's kick to your wand, you would start to build them akin to guns and similar. You're not going to hold the staff out if the staff can push you backwards. The 14 black mage problem when you're casting like flare, where it looks like it's going to drive you into the floor.
Yes.
It's like, no, you're going to have that sucker able to be braced on the ground. There's going to be like shoulder straps and like hip mounts and whatnot.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, you get into like, the back alley custom wands, and the guy's like, yeah, let me just pull up your wand here. I put a scope on it because you've got that long range spell that can go like 3 miles, and I put a brace on it so you can put up against your shoulder so that kick doesn't kill you. Also, there's a silencer on here because you're talking about how it was too loud. A bunch of wizards roll up and they walk out and they look like hitmen, like briefcases where they have to assemble their wand.
Hey there, Barbed Wire. Glad you can join us again. Yeah. Gandalf does the "you shall not pass," and the kickback from the impact launches him. There was an anime.
There's a different version of that scene where it's "you shall not pass," and instead of him like holding up his staff, it's him cocking his staff, and the Balrog being like, "Oh, whoa! I didn't know, man. Hang on, chill out. Let's de-escalate."
I saw one of those punky doodles that does the Reddit reads or similar kind of things to their animations, and it was a bunch of like little kobolds hiding behind rocks, or like, are we out of range? Can he get us? No, he doesn't have any spells that can reach us from here. And it looks over, and you've got the standard like big floppy hat graybeard wizard with a wand with a staff. Pans back, yeah, we're safe. Pans back over to him, and he's got this giant shoulder-mounted missile. I cast 50 caliber magic missile. There was an anime, I can't recall the title, but it's another one of those isekai, the actual reborn in another world, an actual isekai. Well, it's an actual other world. I think there's actually a different genre for reborn. Like there's a different name. There's more to that genre in detail. But anyway, in this one, a sort of a mechanical engineer that's really into like Gunpla and similar and mechas ends up in a magical world where you have like Magitech mechas. And the gimmick is it's a medieval world otherwise. So the mechas are very much modeled after a knight in armor. And magic, since magic exists as a weapon, they have the same sort of accoutrement that a mage would have. So big magic staff kind of thing to throw projectiles like fireballs. Well, he gets in there and it's kind of like, well, this is all very stupid. And does things like the mechs now have the wands built into backpacks that deploy over the shoulder kind of stuff. That kind of technology. You get the, the 40K backpack mounted low slung giant cannon, but it's just a series of wands on a rotary,
I don't know why, but just it looks so silly in my mind.
Floppy wizard hat blowing backwards in the blast wave. But yeah, there's a lot of elements of like traditional fantasy settings that I think they don't hold up when you start to think about how the world would unfold given the technology that is obviously available to them.
I mean,
Tess and I have had a lot of talks like that of things like in a D&D world, if all it takes is study, if you have young wizards, essentially, if like there's a Harry Potter world where study gives you magic, or at least some capability plus study. So if it's common enough that you have enough for universities across the world full of children, and like there is competition to get into the good schools, then magic is common enough that it would start to bleed into day-to-day technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I just make a little stick wand out of that if the composition of the wand in similar, besides needing to be tailored somewhat to the individual, you have to custom make them. Why would you make it just a little wand? Have they tested the capabilities of, different sizes and conformations of them?
It's like a punch glove wand, for that guy that really likes boxing but also wants to cast spells.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it.
But the robe and wizard hat and that kind of conceit. But why?
I mean, it kind of fits in the same space as like Final Fantasy VIII and the, everything's a gun weapon.
Wait, in Final Fantasy VIII?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy VIII, the gimmick is that every character has guns as part of their weapon set, but then like only one of them actually uses a gun, which makes him rather lame compared to the others in terms of like variety of weapon style. But for example, the main character, Squall, you've seen him before. He has a gun sword.
I didn't know he had a gun sword. I'm
he has a
learning
gun
so
sword.
much.
He has a gun sword. One of the other characters uses a gun whip. One of them uses gun fists. There's one that has a gun nunchuck.
How does that work?
It's hilarious when the most practical weapon in there, and it's an impractical weapon, is the gun knuckles.
Yep.
Like, gun swords existed in history, and they were terrible. They were bad things. There is, like, I think one variation of a gun sword that would be a good gun and a good sword. It's, still compromised in that swords get hit with heavy metal things, and guns don't like getting hit with heavy metal things. whether it breaks them or it warps the barrel. Both of those make it cease to be a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of gun blades you'll see in fiction and in some of the historical ones have the gun barrel running down the blade, essentially, in a straight line, which means it's terribly awkward to hold it as a gun, because you don't hold a gun with like your wrist cocked all the way down to point the blade straight at them as if in a full thrust. And because of that posture, if you're going to use the gun, you have to put the sword in a posture that is not a guard anymore. It is not a way you want to rest the blade. The one that worked is as if you had the upward pointing quillins, you know? More of like a V shape, and one of them is a gun barrel. So when you're holding the blade at an angle, the gun is pointed forward. So in a normal, I am holding the sword forward in a usable guard, I can aim the gun at you. Still remarkably difficult to build and use, but an actual gun blade, as opposed to firing this is going to mess up the barrel and the blade at the same time, and it's awkward to hold.
I did not know that about Final Fantasy VIII.
It's Final Fantasy VIII. It's very weird. It's not important that is true of that game. The rest of the game is fine. It's just a very goofy gimmick for the weapon set.
I mean, the game is fine in that it is clearly a Final Fantasy title in the stuff that plays out. It is there's JRPG nonsense beginning to end.
Yes.
I feel like its JRPG nonsense is more nonsense than JRPG compared to other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's the black spot in my anything from 6 to 10. 8 is pretty much the bottom of the rung there.
That's not counting the stupid card mechanic for your spellcasting.
I don't even like 10. Yeah, the 8 had weird choices.
Instead of like magic points and whatnot,
hate them.
you had to use, you essentially had to extract magic tokens from particular monsters, and each of those tokens would be a use of a spell. Which meant in addition to level grinding, you would go to spots to like grind supplies of good spells.
Yep.
That's so crazy. I feel like I would not like that.
You would not be alone if that is the assumption that you eventually get into. Yeah, you would not be alone. A lot of people don't like 8. I don't hate it. It's definitely not my least favorite Final Fantasy. I still think that 10 holds that spot for me, but I would not replay 8.
Yeah. 10 is okay.
I found out that I was exposed to Final Fantasy as a child, and I found out which one it was, finally.
Which one was it?
It was 11.
Ah, the MMO.
Yeah, so I have very vivid memories of going to hang out at my friend's house when I was like a baby. I was like, I don't know, 6 or something. And I remember their
Tess
older
and
sister.
I visibly aging in the background.
Yes, so sorry.
As we say that, we are turning
oh
to dust.
my god. Well, their older sister was playing it on their computer, and I'd always go over and watch, and I thought that the monsters are really cool. And I was talking about it yesterday when I was playing Final Fantasy VII, and someone said that it sounded like Final Fantasy XI, and I looked it up, and it was. It looked just like the monsters that I saw, so it was definitely that game.
11 had some good stuff for its time. I feel like the biggest things that held back 11 were its user interface.
Oh yeah.
Was just abysmal. And some of that was for the second reason, it's MMO methodology and like design in a time period where we were heading towards things like World of Warcraft was very EverQuest. Like,
yeah, it was
text-based
really
interface, awkward
hard.
buttons, along
Wait,
with
EverQuest?
one of the original actual MMOs.
Yeah,
There are some things that came
true
before it,
3D
but they were real small.
EverQuest was, I mean, it was kind of a phenomenon for like 4 or 5 years. It was a big deal, and then it fell apart because WoW came out, and that ended that.
Yeah, it's though interestingly, it is still going and still getting expansions.
Oh yeah, EverQuest is will never die because the people that make it and the people that play it are they are in it.
Yep. This is where a lot of things like if you die, your body drops on the ground and you have to go get it. You lose XP. You have to wait long times to compete for a monster on a spawn schedule. All of those are things that EverQuest really exemplified.
Right.
But just the interface was... You'll occasionally see games that try to be throwbacks to older games. RTS can often be can be a place to really see this sin in play, is things like gigantic buttons taking up a huge portion of the screen.
It is absolutely a sin how often you see the RTS genre fall into that trap. I am playing a game where I can't zoom out enough to see the whole map. It is constantly zoomed in such that I can only see a portion of my base, and like the things that I build eat up at least an eighth of the screen when I'm trying to place them. Is toxic as hell, and that is absolutely a restriction that used to exist on games like Command and Conquer, and they just carried it forward, and I was like, no, this is bad, don't do this.
There are a lot of little interface changes that have been made over time that get associated with that people look at and they're like, these are things that they did when this genre fell apart. It was better when it was older, so everything about when it was older is better.
We've been having this discussion a lot recently with Clair Obscur. Like, I love Clair Obscur. I love a lot of things about Clair Obscur. I think they did a lot of things right in that game. And one of the things that they did right, that they absolutely should have done, is they added in an element of active stuff to do while the turns were playing out. But I don't think that was like what was holding turn-based games back or anything.
Yeah, if you look at there was a period of time where that kind of thing was frowned upon.
Yes.
What, doing stuff in between turns?
Timing-based stuff.
Timing-based stuff, dodging and parrying mechanics in...
Why was that frowned upon?
Because there are purists out there. There are people that hate the remake of 7 because it is not a 100% turn-based game.
Strange. God forbid people do new things.
Yeah,
exactly.
But additionally, Clair Obscur is not the first one by far to even do really interactive combat.
It's not even close. There is a game from the same era as the original Final Fantasy VII called Legend of Dragoon that did exactly that. There were dodge and time it right to do additional damage on your attacks button presses. It was way ahead of its time in that respect, but it doesn't really matter. It was not something that people frowned on. It's still considered to be one of the darling games of its time as well.
It's usually the mechanics get like panned because they are different from the current hotness. And if the game doesn't do well enough to compete with that, no matter how small the game is, then everything about it was the wrong idea and we must never do it again.
Yeah. I mean, there are people, like, I will forever argue that what made Clair Obscur the popular game that it is, which I love it, I think a lot of people who like turn-based games would love it, is that it had a good story. That's really the only thing that is required to make an RPG good.
Yeah. Good story, good characters.
Yep, good story, good characters. If you can manage that, it does not matter what you put in an RPG. People will fucking play it from beginning to end and love it.
Yeah.
It does not need to be more complicated than that. And I say this because I have seen people play through games that have god awful mechanics and swear by them as being great games. And when you ask them why, they do not talk about the mechanics. I really like
Was
the
it
fact that my weapons broke every 6 seconds. That was great. I had to go find new weapons after every fight. It was wonderful.
Damn, the Breath of the Wild shade is crazy.
I didn't mind Breath of the Wild. I didn't mind Breath of the Wild. What I didn't like about Breath of the Wild is that it got rid of so much of what made the older Zelda games that I really, really enjoyed fun, which was the big dungeons where you had to get an item and then you had to use that to solve puzzles in the dungeon. That's what I wanted out of a
little
Zelda
micro
game.
puzzle dungeons aren't the same.
They are not.
Yeah.
They are not the same. And the physics engine puzzles of Tears of the Kingdom were cute, but they were, again, not what I wanted.
Did you play the new Zelda one? Like the actual Zelda game?
I did not play the actual Zelda game, but it did look like it was in that vein of like, this is cute, but not what I want in terms of like I watched somebody who said that they could effectively beat the entire game with one item.
Ooh,
and I was like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a
similar
super
vibe
complicated
to
item.
Tears, where you could engage with the actual the actual game, or you can just build a bonkers contraption and bypass things on the reg.
Apparently, the Zelda game was even less.
Yeah.
You have to build this bonkers contraption, and more. Do you have a bed? Yes. Okay, you can solve all problems with a bed.
Oh,
It's like,
what?
Yeah, because apparently, just like they did not do a very good job of figuring out how to rein in the maps or any of the puzzles or anything. So there are a lot of items in the game that you can use that are they'll just override all the puzzles because you put them in the right spot and it solves the problem for you. It's like, oh.
Interestingly, that's not actually the first Zelda game where you can play as Zelda.
That's true. There's multiple.
Shortly after, it's either around the time of Link to the Past or a little before that.
Oh my god, there's a timer on the stream now.
Yeah, I mean, we're like 15 minutes out. Shortly in that time period, Nintendo had a special console attachment or something like that it was satellite something, what they called it. And it had onboard memory for a particular number of games, and those games were only available to play during particular time periods. And one of them was essentially a Zelda follow-up that was like Master Quest 3 is how it was referred to, in which when you were starting up the game, you would pick Link or Zelda because Zelda had already been freed. Those are hard to locate because they never really had physical existence. So it's a matter of, has somebody found someone that has a version of the console that still has that in memory so they can extract it, kind of recompile it to be played without the online component, and go from there.
The real heroes of the modern gaming era is, in my mind, 100% the internet archivist types that are going out and just building big platforms that buy up old games that nobody knows anymore, or find old copies of games that nobody knows anymore and compiles them into collections that you can buy on Steam or something.
Old games are so expensive though. I went to a shop yesterday and Twilight Princess was over £100, which is I think it would have been almost 150 USD.
But yeah, physical media versions of old games are very difficult to find.
And it becomes increasingly rare as digital distribution continues.
Yeah.
The physical media becomes more and more because I want to collect, so they'll be in the collector's editions, which makes them rarer.
Crazy.
And then time passes. I remember still back in the period that games were being released, that there were some that within a year more than doubled in price because
oh my god,
they were released at like bad times, and then had limited runs based on that and the performance of the badly released game. Dragon Quest IV, no, Breath of Fire 4.
I was gonna say Dragon Quest IV. I would be very upset if that was considered to be a bad game. That was like one of the ones that put it on the map, wasn't it?
No, Dragon Quest has been on the map since 1.
Well, I mean, in terms of like national or international acclaim, I think Dragon Quest IV was one of the first ones that was like very popular overseas.
I don't recall. 4 is one that has like, I like the mechanic of 4. Well, up until the end game of 4, like the last half to third of the game, there is a change that makes it painful to play. By 3, you had a pretty strong presence internationally. Dragon Quest 1 was available like NES along like before Final Fantasy 1. Dragon Warrior in the US for reasons. Yep. But you can see a progression in them as far as it. But so the gimmick in 4 is that you had a bunch of like named characters. One was a nameless single protagonist. Very much one of the very early JRPGs. And it matches some of those single character behaviors that you saw in others. In Dragon Quest II, they added 2 named characters. Very kind of light on the ground story, but you had the main character who is still largely blank slate guy. But, you know, a little bit more. And then it's like a priest and a princess kind of thing. They had their little quest line to get them into your group. But after that point, it was largely just, and I am now here forever. 3 was a main character with a light narrative. Pretty much, you know, discovering that you're the new destined hero, child of the prior big hero. And then you would make your own party. You know, select classes, load into party. They recently had a kind of a 2.5D glow up kind of remake with some menu improvements and visual improvements kind of stuff of 3. 4 is now down to like, there's at least like 8 named characters, and part of the initial mechanic of the game is playing through their opening storylines. And their storyline goes to the point of them joining the main hero's party. Part of the gimmick is that you obtain a wagon that everybody is riding in, with the 4 characters being visible around the wagon, your actual party, and everybody else is jammed into it. So there's some cool aspects of each character. Each character sets like their gimmicks, their capabilities. You have like the traveling the 2 traveling sisters that are a dancer fortune teller pair. You have one guy that's a merchant, and his base story, like the opening of his story that you can do for as long as you want, is just he goes out, explores, goes into dungeons, finds items, brings them back, puts them up for sale in his shop. And you set the prices on them. People will come in, they may or may not buy things. It is a infinite loop until you decide to go out further, to travel further. The thing that I don't like about that game is that after that halfway point, when you've got everybody in the party, they're not controllable characters anymore. They just do their thing. They are fully AI controlled characters in your party. You control the main character. The fortune teller girl in particular, she gets a tarot deck option eventually that is effectively deck of many things from D&D. There are a couple cards that are just, yeah, this will wipe your own party out. Sucks to be you.
Oof. The that reminds me a little bit of so Shin Megami Tensei. The same people have a different series that they occasionally make, and by occasionally I mean I don't think they've made one since the Super Nintendo, so it's been a while. Called Lost Bible or Last Bible, Last Bible. And it had similar mechanics to it. It and the original Shin Megami Tensei actually had similar mechanics to that, where the main character is the only one you actually control. Everyone else is just sort of like along for the ride, man. They're doing stuff. You can I think in the Shin Megami Tensei games you control the humans, but the devils are always like, do they work for you or not? It depends on whether or not they like you. And you can bribe them with spell essence to be like, hey, here's some magic, do a thing. And they're like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
And closed caption test happen. I'm going to step away real quick. I will be right back.
Okay. Leaving task with me.
Yes. I really liked the stories of some of those old games, but the gameplay mechanics of them, I'm glad, are very dead.
I like Shin Megami. I want to play Shin Megami again.
Which one did you? Oh, you played. That's right. You played 5 or.
I played the newest one.
Yeah, 5.
And then, so before that, I played Shin Megami. There was a phone game, and that's how I first got into it.
I think you probably played Shin Megami Tensei, which was ported over to a phone game recently.
It was a few years ago when I played it.
Yeah, I'm old. Recently could be anywhere between now and 10 years ago.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Whoops.
You understand that you could say like, oh, they ported it to phone, and the fact that it was on a phone means it's recent for me.
Well, for me, I would think I was in high school when I played it.
Okay, yeah, no, that's pretty recent for me.
Is it? That was like 10 years ago.
Sky, I was playing Final Fantasy X, I think before you were born.
Oh, God. That's funny.
Well, we're close to it.
Listen, there's no such thing as old.
So we never did do predictions. My prediction for this Game Fest, I predict Persona 6. I think we'll get some news about Persona 6.
Resident Evil.
I do think we will get a new Resident Evil announced.
Or a remake.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
A remake of one?
Why? Well, they already remade one. They already remade one.
Give me 5.
It would be 5.
I want to see Wesker.
Yeah, you want to see Wesker. You're just fucking obsessed with Wesker.
We're yelling out Bioshock 4.
Oh yeah, Bioshock 4 would be a thing. I would almost guess though that they would rather do like a Bioshock Infinite 2 or something, because from what I remember, Infinite was way more popular than Bioshock 3 by a mile. But I could see that. I could see a Bioshock 4.
What was Bioshock 3?
Fallout?
It was a thing, I think. Or was Infinite 3? Am I just thinking?
I thought Infinite was 3 because 1 or 2 are the Rapture ones, Rapture and Return to Rapture. Now with
I thought 3 was a
more
thing.
creepy girls. Barbara says that was Infinite, was 3.
Okay, all right, then yes, you're correct. Bioshock 3. So Bioshock 4.
I feel like in that vein they would end up need to end up going down like an Infinite route of let's have another thing, a story in the world. Yes. Though at that point, like we mentioned before, something new, a Bioshock game.
Yeah. Bioshock, even if you wanted to keep Bioshock at the beginning, don't do a Bioshock Infinite 2 or something. Bioshock Invert Universe, or I don't know. Bioshock the Bathroom Break. Who knows?
Are we gonna see another Fallout game?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe.
Um, that would be interesting. It would be interesting to see another Fallout game. I could also see some sort of like teaser trailer, announcement trailer thing for Cyberpunk 2077 2.
Cooking Mama.
Okay, look, Cooking Mama is a guilty pleasure. I would be
It's
down for
actually a really good game.
that. It is. It is a pretty solid game.
There are a lot of cozy titles out there that are just really good.
I would be happy to see another Ace Attorney game.
Nintendo.
I would love to see a new Ace Attorney. I would like to hear news of if they're actually going to do the PC port of Professor Layton.
Well, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because they said they were gonna.
Yeah.
And those
Final
were
Fantasy.
fun. As far as Square Enix goes, the rumor mill is Final Fantasy IX remake, which
Oh my god, yes.
yes, I would, especially if they. I don't want the same mechanics as 7 remake, because that just doesn't vibe with the vibe of 9. But the same amount of attention to detail and fandom and love put into a modern, fully graphically realized version of 9 would be amazing.
Though counterpoint, VV in Final Fantasy VII combat.
Okay,
Like remake combat. Like
okay, but we
him
already
like
have
arms up scrambling around.
we already have a thermonuclear weapon in Final Fantasy VII remake. Her name's Aerith. We don't need another one. Okay.
I'm
Now,
gonna turn my
that said,
volume up.
That is absolutely what that would be. That and Steiner in full 3D would be hilarious as well. I don't even want to comprehend what kind of goofball he would look like in modern graphics.
Following program may contain content that some viewers find offensive. It may contain flashing lights and other things that we put in a warning very briefly for legal purposes. If you die, it's not on us anymore.
That is what that means, yes. Thank you for translating their corporate speak.
All right, here we go. Well, that's very loud.
Woo!
I love the energy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Summer Game Fest, a showcase to celebrate what's new and next in video games. Now, every year we have the distinct honor of coming
Your closed
together
captioning
to
has failed
spotlight
us.
the boundless creativity.
They've definitely got some delay.
Thank you all for joining us and giving us your time. And special thanks to Dante. I was reading my feed this morning and saw that he canceled a date and he hopes I don't disappoint him. Dante, we're going to do our best to make it worth your while. We have a really fun show ahead. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to give you a whirlwind tour of dozens of games from studios big and small. From Lego
I'm gonna move
bricks
this over.
to
Sorry,
puppets,
chat.
zombies to Marvel heroes.
Oh.
This show has a little bit of everything, including, yes, some brand new game announcements.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in brand new game announcements as opposed to
all the other things you just
DLC
said.
for Marvel Heroes.
To recognize just how dynamic our industry has become. Here's a look at the top 10 selling new games on Steam.
Repo! Wild.
By units, according to Game
That is an
Discovery.
interesting combination there.
Now, the list includes beloved franchises,
Sure is.
but sitting
So, like, Schedule I
with over
up there.
14 million units sold since February is Repo, a groundbreaking
Yes,
game
we love
designed by a
Repo.
passionate team of just 10 people at Semiwork in Uppsala, Sweden. And closely trailing it is Schedule 1 from TVGS, a solo developer in Australia. It's inspiring that these indie creations stand side by side with heavyweights like Monster Hunter Wilds and the Oblivion remake. Absolutely. Now let's also applaud Claire Obscure from Sandfall.
Yeah,
Oblivion
that
Remake
deserves
is,
applause.
Oblivion Remake lives in such a strange place because it very much is a for the fans thing. Like, I mean, it's by a company that is very much for the money. Like, how much can we squeeze, kind of for the money. But the presentation of it absolutely for the fans, because they went out of their way to recreate
Replicate
the
bugs.
jank models.
Emerge from
Yep.
outside the traditional publisher system. And that's something to celebrate. But with more than 18,000 games released on Steam just last year, more than double from 2020, the challenge now is discovery. And that's precisely why events like Summer Game Fest, our partner showcases happening all weekend long, and initiatives like the Steam Next Fest are so essential. These
Steam Next
events
Fest
let
and
the
those
marketable
sales are
games,
big
and small,
pushers
find their
for
audience.
a variety of game
Hopefully, when
content.
watching this show, you'll discover your next favorite game.
Yep.
So, in that spirit,
Because they go out of their
let's
way
kick
to
things
put
off with a game from
like
independent
little games
studio
in there, because it is to their advantage for games to sell straight up, period. And cheap
One of the few
indie
times
games.
capitalism doing what it needs to do.
Today,
Yeah.
they're a thriving independent studio of 30 creators. And what
Yeah,
you're
we're
about to
talking
see
over his
is a
speech a lot,
powerful
but we're not
testament
necessarily
to
missing
what
anything.
passion, freedom, and a small dedicated team can achieve. Let's take a look at our first new game announcement.
Okay.
Hey there, Zell. Welcome. We're watching Summer Game Fest with Okami and Taz.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm muting this segment.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Not
What
because
the
it
hell?
doesn't sound awesome. And the visuals are neat, but that was a music performed by.
Yep. There's some real Nurgle looking stuff going on here that I appreciate.
Hardcore dark
Oh.
fantasy.
Oh, this is awesome. What the hell?
It's like Dark Souls, but with really cool fatalities. I'm down for that.
Oh, this is cool. I like the creatures a lot too.
Yeah, it's the creature design is quite varied, and I like that.
Oh, this is so cool.
That guy had a crossbow shooting wood stakes at mock speeds.
Ooh.
Blade snail.
These designs are neat.
Barbed Wire says God of War finishers, but in Bloodborne.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's about what
Zell
I was
called
thinking
it.
too.
Mortal Shell 2.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Mortal Shell was an interesting gimmick, the whole, taking on the form and capabilities of enemies.
Reels. Over the years, Fortnite has innovated with mass-scale
Oh,
live
Fortnite.
in-game events. And tomorrow, Fortnite is set to do it again across console, PC, and phones. The Death Star's super laser is charged and ready to decimate the Battle Royale island. But there's still hope. You and your
Like,
friends can join the fight. Here's the
To some
first
extent, I'm
exclusive
still
look
annoyed
at
with
what you'll be part
Fortnite
of
for them
tomorrow.
killing
Brand new live
the
event, Death
the kind
Star
of
Sabotage.
active tower defense in an interesting setting where you would run out, get materials, build up your base, run out, get materials, build up your base in between wave defense. That was a lot of fun. Yes, they have brought that back, but it's like a vestigial side mode.
Yeah, it's not really what they focus on, and that makes me sad because I like tower defense games of that ilk.
Yeah,
The reason why I liked Orcs Must Die, even though I don't really like the aesthetic of Orcs Must Die.
they did a decent job with the roguelike one, the recent one.
Yeah, we need to play more of that at some
Who is
point.
set to
Yeah.
release his latest project in just a few short weeks. With each of his games, he pushes the gaming medium in bold new directions.
Cats
And
are
we
very
honored
actively
to have him
dodging
with
the
us for the
camera.
first time at Summer Game Fest in person.
Five Nights at Freddy's,
Please,
maybe?
everyone, join me in welcoming the great Mr. Hideo Kojima.
Death Stranding 2,
Death
now
Stranding 2,
even
yeah.
weirder.
I
didn't
would be okay
understand
with
that
it getting
game.
weirder because it ended up not being all that weird at the end of Death Stranding 1.
Mr. Kojima, here we are, the World Tour.
I mean, more
And it
just
turned
the
into terrain simulator.
yeah. That's what I mean, though. Is
So let me ask you, Mr. Kojima, you've worked for many
people
years
joke
on this
about
project.
walking
What do
simulator
real players
games.
take away
Death
from
Stranding
the
was a
PS4
walking
trailer later
simulator.
this month?
Like,
It was.
it's
in a good
simulated
way.
walking.
Well,
Yeah.
the pandemic after we
It was
released
good,
DS1,
but it was also just
everyone experienced
at,
the pandemic.
at the ending of DS1. I kind of really wanted it to get more weird towards the end, and it just didn't.
Connection
Yeah.
after we faced the pandemic. So I want everyone you to think about that when you play this game.
Okay, well, talking about playing the game, it's coming out later this month, but right now I know you prepared a special...
But will we have more very awkward product placement? Tell us more, Kojima. Like, really awkward product placement. The fact that it was pretty much a mechanic that the guy, like, slammed Monster Energy, you know?
Yep. You ever play Death Stranding, Sky?
No, it's not really my kind of game.
I would not expect it to be. It's real weird.
I mean, I don't think it's anybody's kind of game because it is its own kind of game.
It's true.
It is a very unique creature.
No smoking, please.
Bro looks tired.
So you are Neil Vana.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? For living?
Feels like he could be a side character in a Yakuza game very easily.
I'm a porter.
He's
By
so
look,
high
we
fidelity for a Yakuza game now.
So thank you.
I don't know, and some of the close-up, especially in some of the more recent ones, like Infinite Wealth, there's been some remarkably high-fidelity character images, given that you hardly ever see them.
That's true.
What?
I mean, not compared to this. There's some moisture simulator on those faces.
Yes. I don't think I want to see Ichigo or in that degree of or Ichiban in that degree of moisture.
What the hell?
We both got the same ringworm together.
You're alive.
Oh, what the hell? Was that a thing in the first game?
No.
So much mystery. Well, that was,
What did we learn in this
first
trailer?
game, a cutscene.
Ringworms.
We saw a first glimpse of Neil and Lucy, and we met them in
Ringworm.
the trailer back at
Like,
South by
our
Southwest.
first glimpse of these two characters. For all we know, they're NPCs that you see a grand total of twice.
In DS2.
I mean, that is
You know,
that
they
is kind of
introduce
how
them.
it happened in the first one.
Neil and Lucy.
They show them in a movie sequence, and then you never see them again.
You saw
That is sort of what happened in the first one. They did that with a couple of characters they've introduced that you just don't see anymore.
throughout the story. And last time on DS1, we had
The cancer marks.
by maps,
There's
and of course by story.
there's some sinister aspect to calling it that.
Neo will be like playing like the
No,
world that
it's an illness brand
for DS2 this time.
to call out the
You
unclean.
mean no? They mean cancer in terms of the Gemini sign
We
or
have to kind of like
fine.
hop that
Ah.
barrier.
other type of cancer, man.
Great actor, and
I mean,
it will
those looked like completed circles,
I
so,
think you'll like this new character Neo too.
you know, not.
Well, the game's gonna be out in 20 days, so I'm not gonna give any spoilers. that's
I know.
what I brought today.
But there is more to share, and you won't have to wait very long to learn more about the game. Actually, this Sunday, as
Barbed
I was
Wire
saying,
says those will be
tune into the
merchants,
live
and they
game
have
there.
no unique
Where
dialogue
Doyle
after
will be
this.
joined by many members of the cast. He'll be
Welcome to
sharing,
my shop.
a new demo of the game, live gameplay demo alongside Elle Fanning and Troy Baker, and I'll be there hosting it. And let's just say this is not the last that you've seen of Neil this weekend. And we'll
I'm
leave
just
it
a
at
little
that.
bit sad that we're not going to get another Metal Gear.
Yes, I'll show you the gameplay scene.
Yeah.
So hope you enjoy. Will join us Sunday too.
Excellent. All right.
Oh, dude, by
Yeah,
the way,
that's going to be
I-
in kind of IP limbo.
Yeah, I will say though, Newt, that the new Silent Hill seems to be taking a step in the right direction. The main character never having a gun feels like
a veteran games journalist on GameSpot.
they might have
now
understood the
hosting
assignment.
Friends Per Second podcast. Please join me in welcoming
Yeah.
the incredible Lucy James.
It's with a survival horror game, generally, if you're going to give them powerful weapons, they should always feel like, but do I want to use my shotgun shell, not my shotgun?
Thank you for having me. Now, we are
Like,
on
I've got
to
two
the
shells. Do I want to
exciting
spend
project
one?
from Raw Power Games,
Yeah.
a new team headquartered in Copenhagen, Denmark. Here you can engage in intense combat, fight for land, glory, and legacy, and lead massive armies into epic scale battles, as narrated by actor Tom Hardy.
Thou shalt not kill. So the priests tell us. So the Lord commands.
Isn't Tom Hardy also the name of the guy that does some of those goofy YouTube songs, like Red Flags?
I sought no war,
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's Cardi.
but war.
Tom Cardi. Yeah. I'm thinking Cardi.
I became like them. Took up the
Though I would love to see a very serious looking game like that narrated by that guy in his style.
But some paths, once taken, have only one ending. I shall find no peace. On this road, there is only death.
And now a completely different graphics engine from what you just saw.
At least the flowers look really pretty.
Yeah, the environment looks really pretty. And the biggest difference of that scene was lighting. It's a very vague
So I'm
name.
guessing the point of that game is just to conquer different areas.
A very cool new project in a
You know,
brutal-
to some
would
extent, I'm
seem that
interested. There was
Now
a
time to hang on to the
late.
edge
It was
of
like
tomorrow.
PS2, PS
Sonic
or
Racing
PS3.
Crossworlds is a thrilling new entry
Uh,
in the
that
legacy
was
of racing
War of the
action
Roses
games
or
of the
something
Sonic
like that.
franchise. Crossworlds brings other worlds and familiar faces to Sonic
And the
Racing,
gimmick was you
including
were
some
essentially
guest
the
characters,
equivalent
including
of a
Neil
sergeant
at
on the
SGF.
battlefield. You did not lead the full army, but what you would
Yeah,
do
like
is
your
you would
crew.
you would lead the character around and you would take over units.
Sonic
Like if
Racing-
I
I
run
wanna
to this
play
unit,
this.
we are now longswords kind of thing, which was cool.
Wait. Is this? Wait a minute.
Our IP is still relevant.
Did they use the hoverboards again though? I thought I saw them using the hoverboards. Oh my god! Oh my god, they are! Okay. I need to buy this.
Someone is more excited for Sonic Racing.
I mean, I grew up on Sonic. I'd be happy with it.
Miku? Miku?
I mean, I appreciate when a company that... My god. That is a cavalcade.
Ooh, yeah, that is definitely a cavalcade. I guess they're all Sonic characters, though. Or
My
Sega
gosh.
characters.
Joker too.
I mean, this is a pathway you can go, is the Smash Brothers route, you know?
It's
Like
a
Mario
good one.
Kart.
For this kind of game, that is absolutely a good pass to take.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Coming in September, but that is not all.
I do think that's a fun one. It's Sonic is known for running really fast on his feet. And in racing games, they often put him in a car or something.
I'm honored to be here to talk about
Well, to make
our
it fair.
latest Sonic racing game. Sonic Racing Crossword is a next generation.
That is legitimately usually the excuse. It's to make it fair.
Team and the Sega arcade racing team. You can feel brand new experience from the new future travel ring, which you can warp in the race. Also, unlike another kart racing game,
Oh,
this game
The shade?
will have online cross-platform matchmaking.
oh my gosh, the shade.
The shade.
So, you can race against
Which, by the way,
all
Mario
your
Kart came out
friends
today.
across
Yep.
all of the
Get right.
platform. Lastly, I have one more thing I'd like to show everyone here today. Take a look inside of the travel ring.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, what? What?
Fucking Minecraft level.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Minecraft and Sonic. I guess you could say you gotta go craft. Well, I gotta laugh. That's all I want. That's all I want. Next, we're excited to reveal a brand new action RPG from
The
Bandai
speakers
Namco
are
Studios.
much more tolerable
Embark on a journey
in this so
across
far.
a dark fantasy world and uncover a vast story that eclipses time.
Oh?
Okay. Setting I'm interested in already.
Okay, we've still got some dark fantasy, but we also had a semi-modern looking city.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
The aesthetic of the equipment.
Like horror, kind of.
We, is
You got
this
some candles in your face,
is this
man.
Code Vein?
Is it? It could be. It's got similar
That
aesthetic.
equipment that he, like the mask, and then how he formed a weapon.
Could be Code Vein too, yeah. The setting would also make sense. Post-apocalyptic modern era.
Yeah. The gold coloration being a new part of it, a new vibe.
Yeah.
The characters are beautiful.
If time were a weapon to wield,
Yeah, the designs as far as equipment and whatnot is very interesting.
in this time,
Anime with real dark fantasy, like
or maybe the next,
dark fantasy tech in there, as well as creatures and visuals.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. The combat looks so good.
The girl is still full anime, Zell. It's that the chest plate makes her look noticeably different. But
With
yeah,
a-
like
with a
that's
motorcycle, too.
totally Code Vein kind of tech.
These creatures are so cool. It
Code
is
Vein
Code
2.
Vein.
Code Vein is not bad. It's
It was definitely something that needed a little bit of work before it came out to be really
Dark
well
Souls, but way more action, and that can make it difficult.
Yeah.
But I liked the setting in that,
it?
and the visuals are a big upgrade. Like, the style was really there.
What is this? Oh, fuck that.
Oh, nasty functions of the monsters in this one.
And interesting. We seem to have a twin stick style.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, but
Both End of Abyss. Both very kind of body horror vibe creatures. Sort of fungal amalgamation looking things. And big blocky robots.
Malmo, Sweden-based Section 9 Interactive, an atmospheric action-adventure game coming in 2026 to the Epic Games Store and consoles. Next, we'll step
Twin
into the
stick
black and
can
white
be
world
really
of
good for
cover-host
third person
animation
when you've got
with
gunplay.
Mouse PI for
Like,
Hire, developed by
it really comes
overhead
down to the
third person.
control. It really comes
Yes.
down to the control. How does it handle?
Releasing later this year. Here's a quick new look at the game and the reveal
Kind of like-
a
Like,
familiar
twin
voice.
stick
Yeah,
is
like a
descriptive, but
shooter
if you
is-
have to play it with twin stick, it's bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like how a first-person shooter is 100% dependent on is the gunplay good, you know?
Yes.
Because if it's not, I don't want to play it.
This is an old school Toon style shooter.
That would appear to be the case. Somebody saw that that you can now make cartoons of rat people and not get sued.
Yeah, but it's the cartoon era that gave us Cuphead, you know.
Now comes the announcement of
Yeah.
another ambitious project from this independent Australian developer. We've been talking to them for a while about this project, which builds on their recent launches of Kill Knight and Age of Darkness. But this takes things to a whole new level. It's a premium, real-time strategy game built for PC based on one of the most iconic fantasy franchises in the world.
Oh?
Any guesses? Let's take a look.
Oh?
The based on a fantasy franchise is a very dangerous marker.
Yeah. Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Game of Thrones.
Sorry, Game of Thrones, right. This, King's Watch or whatever.
You may think you know how the game is played. But this is not the game you know.
It is a setting where its rules and its believability, like its narrative consistency, fell to pieces.
Yep.
And did Martin ever actually follow through and finish the books?
No.
I didn't think so, because I get
Is your legacy.
there's that whole they just wanted to end the series real quick, and I get the distinct vibe is they didn't want to truncate the series. That's the script that they were given. That's the vibe that I get. And because it was so critically panned, they had to go back to he had to go back to the drawing board so that he can make something that's real different.
He is notorious for taking decades to put out a book. It is. I would not.
Oh, I
would
know
not
he
believe
is.
That he's not.
Ooh.
I know he's really slow to release books, but simultaneously, the way that is presented, again, it had already taken years and years for him to get to the point that he was when this series started.
I mean,
I don't know anything about Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
That cinematic thing, but
All right, now it is time for the
tell me a
global
gameplay
reveal of
for
an
your
Yeah,
strategy
yeah.
game, or otherwise it doesn't mean anything.
RPG.
Like, are we getting base building? Are we getting, more heavy tactical, like some newer ones?
Underfish.
Okay, the giant portrait on the side of the space station is interesting. I like the...
Other intelligent beings. It is said, if they were out there, they would have visited Earth.
Is this an Outer Wilds type thing?
The dog is like a robot dog.
I know they're making an Outer Worlds too, but
The answer is, maybe they will visit us
Wait, who is
This
that
is
voice? Is that
way
Matt
too-
Mercer?
for this. The dawn of a new
is this that Adam Hart again?
The
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep. I only recognize because of the very femme robot.
Yes.
But additionally, the robot style has that vibe. They had a
That's
very...
Oh,
Let me just mute that again.
Yeah.
Let's identify the 30-second chunks I'm going to have to cut from my YouTube VOD.
this looks like fun.
I hadn't played it, but I heard that this that Atomic Heart was, considered good.
But
But
I mean, it's less aesthetically awful, but I feel like I had too much butt in observation duty last night.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I could have done with 100% less of the butt that was on your observation duty last night.
Hey there, Dodds. There's a lot going on in this trailer. I like that they're presenting an actual, living setting as opposed to just a, this is a place where everything went wrong. This is a city.
Yeah.
There are people living here, or these things living here.
the Queen song is definitely copyright. However, Twitch does not care.
As long as you don't leave a VOD active, and you can usually dodge any problems on Twitch. To some extent, YouTube as well, but YouTube penalizes you more if you don't leave a VOD.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky, a giant cube.
Cube.
I can still barely believe it myself.
In development for over a decade.
When
Rubik's
it showed up,
Planet?
I was in the lab. I didn't even see it. You know? I felt that same fear, though. A terrible sense of my own powerlessness.
I mean, this is still Atomic Heart 2,
How
but
did the whole
Woman.
of
Weird.
humanity miss it?
Sorry.
And did we
why do you
actually
have battle armor and a mini skirt? What is your function?
It makes sense. Don't question it.
always there, and we've only just started to see it.
Brought to you by, what was it? The armor design of some, the flawed armor design of some bombers and similar in World Wars.
Okay, fair.
The vehicles come back with holes in these spots, so that's
see
where
the
the
appeal.
holes need to be covered.
Hot women, guns, fighting.
There are a lot of great big bruiser monsters with, extra T-Rex arms. Like bonus
I don't think we
T-Rex
needed the
arms.
crotch shot.
The cube.
Speak for yourself.
Ooh, Atomic
Okay, so
Universe.
that's
like a
that's a
multiplayer
separate
version?
game. Yeah. So this is Atomic Universe. Are we gonna get? Is this gonna be like an extraction shooter?
Massive levitating cube you can see there, where the edges are constantly rotating to create unique gameplay combinations that are ever evolving. All right, let's jump into the Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
You know,
universe.
that's
It's a
Planetside
Mamorpica.
2.
Beat 'em up
It's,
coming to
yeah,
PC
it's
and consoles
Planetside
this
2.
holiday with multiplayer
I'm okay
fun
with
for
that.
I mean, if it's
everyone playing.
Planetside, I would love to see another company give it a go.
But so far,
Yeah.
only 7 have been revealed. Well, now it's time to meet the next 2.
Cool. I want the next 2.5 minutes of my life back.
I'm gonna eat a biscuit.
I
This
need
is-
to not have any more Marvel games in my life. Thanks.
Though I appreciate
Hey,
it's
why?
a beat 'em up so far.
Okay,
Do you not like Marvel?
I'm just tired.
I feel like there's too much Marvel, and Marvel is
Yeah.
very much now in the, let's cross over everything that we've ever had.
I mean, I'm happy for Maximilian Dude that he gets his new Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's not Capcom game. But I don't need it this much Marvel in my life. I could do with 90% less comic book stuff. Period.
That's fair. Sorry, I'm dying.
Okay, more.
Juan said hello to you guys. Hi, Juan.
Oh.
Hello, Juan.
Yeah. This is yeah.
Is this the Onimusha return, or is this something else?
Onimusha return, yeah.
What's that? Oh, that's cool. Whatever that is.
Onimusha is Resident Evil, but set in medieval Japan.
But not
It
zombies,
looks like-
then I would assume, right?
Oh no, absolutely zombies. 1000% zombies. It looks like they have taken the route of there's a lot more Oni involved in this one. I mean, there were Oni in all the other ones too. They were the ones that were making the zombies, but there were absolutely zombies in the cities. That was mostly what you had to fight.
But there's only room for one at the top, and it won't be a coward who runs from jewels. Words never did work between us.
Definitely made the visuals look cool.
He looks insane. That guy looks awesome. We getting a release date? That's happening?
Pretty Woman? 2026.
Sometime next year, maybe.
Onimusha, Way of the Sword, which we announced back in December at the TGAs. It is coming in 2026 and will be playable this summer at Gamescom. Now let's completely switch gears. You guys all know I love my puppets, and this next project is one I've been tracking for a few years, as a team at Sans String Studios is using Unreal Engine 5 to create an insane digital puppeteering pipeline. It's actually a thing.
Thunderbolt fantasy game. Let's go. Come on. Do it.
Unreal, and I cannot wait to play it. Here is an unexpected new game announcement that combines comedic storytelling and arcade fighting action. Check this out.
What the fuck? No. This is creepy.
I think I might be with Newt on this one. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this.
I mean, it's Muppets and not Thunderbolt fantasy, or style, but there's.
I'm fine with Muppets. I'm fine with all of this.
But let's see how they execute.
Oh no, I ran out of water.
Gods, we are watching Summer Game Fest. We have not yet found out what Muppet Battle is.
I'm so confused.
That had UI on it. That toilet plunging had like a meter.
Yes. Need more of this. Oh fuck yes. Please tell me. Please tell me. This is a fucking Mike Tyson Punch-Out clone. Fuck yeah.
It looks like Punch-Out. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That is amazing. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I love it. It's so bad.
Super fun. Gotta wish list that, right? All right,
There's some potential there.
Of a brand new game in Deception We Trust.
An ancient white castle deep
I feel like the title of this game should indicate you shouldn't.
Only the chosen find their way here.
Ooh, outfits, fire.
Yeah.
Fair.
Wolves and lambs.
Tell me this
What?
is a game.
Engaged in a perilous dance of wits, a game where truth is but a shadow.
I want to play this.
Killer Inn.
Killer Inn is a murder mystery action game. The killers lurk elusively in plain sight. Kill someone and a clue will remain.
Hair, fingerprints, blood, clothes. The lambs scramble to find clues, one step closer to unmasking the culprits. Who is guilty will eventually come to light. Wolves win by killing every lamb. Lambs win by booting out every wolf. Such
Action
simple rules.
werewolf.
But there's so much more to this game of murderous mystery. Complete quests to level up.
Oh,
Buy
this.
items with the gold you earn. Loot chests for weapons and
It is interesting, but I wonder how much the very clearly action combat element could disrupt part of the conceit. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
if
like,
we
are
can
they
just
just gonna
team
go
up
into a
and
match
gun
and just
everybody
kill?
down,
Yeah, I was
then
gonna say you can just kill everyone.
Deceit and deduction are your strongest weapons in this game of
you know,
life
the wolves would have to be dangerously outnumbered. You know,
Yeah, that's
That was
100%
Killer Man, a
execution based.
24
If
player
it's good
multiplayer
execution,
game
then
from
it'd be a great
Square
game.
Enix, where you compete in a game of life or death using social deduction skills to win. All right,
I like
historically,
the
this
idea
next game
that
was
there
first
is
announced at TGA
evidence that you
2021.
have to
And though it's
conceal,
been a
that you
while,
have
the
to
recent
look
back
at,
tests prove that some things
Yeah.
are definitely worth
that could
doing.
identify the
I'm, of course,
person.
talking
You know,
about Arc Raiders. This is one of the most anticipated games of the year, and we're excited to share a new trailer which will tell you
now
more
supposedly
about
this is the extraction shooter that
Roman Speranza and the long-awaited
ate
launch
Marathon's
date
lunch,
coming later this year.
setting aside
From
the,
Embark Studios,
you know,
here's the world premiere of the release
art
date
theft
trailer.
controversy.
Self-inflicted wound, yes.
Like, this was a game that gave itself time to breathe as opposed to Marathon, which they, you know, started running and hunted out the door in order to get a public alpha.
Marathon was less of a marathon and more of a sprint.
Clear your mind of all distractions. You don't have to walk this path alone. Surround yourself with resourceful friends. Here, you are in control.
This looks beautiful.
Very pretty. There are plenty of, especially extraction shooters, that tout themselves as PvPvE. And I think a lot of those fall flat because the versus environment tends to be like a very small part of it. If you want the setting to feel where it's not like, why would you take on this role? Because it seems like the modus operandi of the raider would be to murder everybody else. Then why would anybody be that, you know?
To Embark Studios. All right, Dune fans, now you can finally step onto the world of Arrakis yourself. Dune Awakening combines the survival and MMO genres with a thrilling cinematic story. It arrives on PC in just
And I do not care about the Dune game at all because it is an MMO survival game. No. Just no.
How does that work?
It usually
you have
doesn't.
You have like a moisture meter.
Well, you have a moisture meter, you have like, you've got to eat, you've got to maintain your moisture, you've got to build your base on public servers with competitive aspects.
What happens when you go online? Can they still destroy your stuff?
Yes.
Oh, I don't like that.
And it's almost always the case that there's just really stupid
You can just
mechanics
never
like
go
that.
offline then.
I mean, sometimes games will have like offline safety for that kind of thing, but it's just why.
Like, it's a cool setting, but
The
yeah,
setting
but even
alone is
Rust
not
Barbed
enough.
Wire is like, those are servers you run, so you have control over who gets in, that kind of thing. But when it's
Sandworm.
like an MMO where it is enforced online with like whoever else, you can definitely get gamer mentality problems the
I mean,
people
not
always
even
trot
gamers,
out
they'll call it
the types of gamer, and it'll be stuff like people that like to explore, people that like progression, people that like to build things. And there are also a couple of categories that are effectively
And then
people
that
that
guy-
enjoy hurting other people in a
Yeah.
variety of ways, but it's either they like to win over other people, like victory is what they want. But there's also they want to hurt people. Your gameplay being disrupted is what they want. And some of those categories cannot coexist.
Yep.
And if you try to cater to all of them, then you are going to alienate at least half of them.
Yep. As soon as
And
you,
that's
as soon
kind
as
of
you
what they
say
do.
that, as soon as you say that there is a cooperative element to the game, and then you also say that there is a like an element that is designed for people like that, you have lost it. It's no longer
Yeah.
worth it. I mean, it looks cool. I like that they have worms and there's actual mechanics for worms and things. It's clear that the people that made it had a love for the setting, but I
Yeah.
don't. I'm not gonna.
I've
deal
read
with
too many of
creatures.
the books. I'm done with the setting. That
It's not a
setting did not
particularly
jump the
consistent
shark.
setting
It sent
either.
the shark into orbit.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah. Launched another rocket up there to launch the shark into the sun.
Ooh.
we are very rich on the dark fantasy vibes.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like just an ad for Night Rain? Looks
I don't
like
think
it
that's
might
what
just.
this is. Yeah, I don't think
Stick to
that's
the
what
books
this
and
is.
movies regarding Dune. I didn't even know there were books and movies.
Oh yeah.
Once
Dune's
again,
a
we are
franchise
sad,
that's been around
Sky.
forever.
We are
Yeah.
sad.
I think that means that we need to drag Sky into a movie night at some point now.
Yeah, probably. And so I can understand.
To save what remains of our broken worlds.
A lot of dark fantasy settings today.
I'm here for it.
I do not object. Chrono Odyssey.
This?
June 20th. Oh,
Huh.
that's my birthday.
Hey! Happy early birthday.
Thanks. Genshin? Genshin. Or Wuwa,
I mean,
one of them.
I mean, it is in the same bloodline, it would seem.
Gotta watch the old 80s era Dune movie. Is that what you guys were gonna make me watch?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, that's the Dune movie.
That
We're
one
not-
is a solid standalone Dune movie.
Yes. I'm not
There
particularly.
is only one
been dragging you
aspect of
through
it that I think
three
they fell
others.
flat on, but everything else is good.
Yeah.
The victors show no mercy.
Way of the Weirding was very downplayed in that movie.
It was not only very downplayed, it was done wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even remotely what the Weirding Way was.
Yep.
Can someone tell me the difference
Wuthering
between
Waves, there we go.
Wuthering Waves and Genshin? Because they look very similar to me.
Now, Wuthering Waves, from what I understand, Wuthering Waves is closer to Diablo than Genshin. Genshin's much more like Tears of the Kingdom and that ilk, and Wuthering Waves is much more like Diablo or Path of Exile or something.
Okay.
Like, combat-wise, they're very, very similar, but the rest of the game, you know?
Okay, okay.
That's Mio Memories in Orbit, a stunning new Metroidvania platformer that has a demo on Steam you can play right now as part of Next Fest. What you're about to see next is a stop-motion co-op platformer where everything has been crafted by hand. It's called Out of Words, and I'm honored to show it to you today.
I mean, the Midnight Walk was good with that kind of visual.
Yeah.
Like, claymation in fabric is interesting.
How do you even begin to make something like this?
Arduously.
Yes.
I mean, stop motion is there's a reason you don't see much of it.
It is a meticulous process.
It looks like it's shooting for some of that. I can't remember what the other one was, where you had like a couple with a collapsing relationship.
Yeah, the two of us or whatever. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Here is the Summer Game Fest.
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. That's the one.
There you go.
Betrayal burns because it can only come from someone close. An enemy can't hurt you like a friend.
Who are you?
Sono Enzo. I work here. My friends, my family, my beautiful daughter, Isabella.
The Godfather games were pretty good for what they are. Would recommend if you feel like you want to go do mobster things.
I don't know anything about The Godfather.
All right, well, yet another movie night.
That is one I've
Just file
actually
them
never
all.
watched, and to some extent, it's one of those that is so touted as like this amazing bit of cinema that there's a point at which you look at that and say, yeah, no.
It's not that. It's not that. It's good, but it's not like the pinnacle of cinema, especially not Godfather 2. It's a good series. It's not life-changing.
It's interesting to see a much like earlier in time take.
And who are you, Enzo?
Like,
This is kind of set in the same time as Godfather. Godfather is set in like the same era as like the Great Depression.
LEGO Voyages captures the creative
but this seems to have been a little before that vibe as far as some of the stuff presented. But that might also be the setting, because we got like rural or old country kind of vibe, you know?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Lego games?
I have not played one I liked yet.
They're like, the concept is okay, but they're like crude fan service much of the time.
Yep.
Like, this looks like that guy. Isn't that funny? Or this is like
a
that scene
retelling of
from that
Star
movie.
Wars.
Isn't that neat?
The whole retelling of Star Wars. Great.
This
Why don't
actually
I
looks
just play
really
Star Wars?
cute.
Co-op
does look
physics
so good.
puzzle kind of stuff. The mechanic of putting, like, grafting the pieces together is interesting.
Oh, to be a little block in a Lego game.
Barbed Wire, if you've played about 2 hours of Lego Batman, I would contend you have played every Lego franchise game. Like Batman, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, doesn't matter. If you've played any of them, you've played all of them.
Voyager?
I mean, that's neat. I think the gimmick of that feels more like its own thing as opposed to just we are riding coattails with two recognizable brands.
You might have grown up with on Nickelodeon. Some with squirrel suits, thank you. Some with science smarts, and some with serious attitude. Nickelodeon has always been about wild worlds and weirder characters. And while I'm mostly sworn to secrecy today, I am thrilled to have a hand in revealing something that brings a lot of those characters together like never before. I hope you enjoy the first look at Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. Yee-haw!
Which strikes me as she is a voice actor for a character that you might recognize in Nickelodeon media.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very cheeky reference.
Ridiculously handsome wizard would call upon his magic powers to summon the most ferocious, most awesome, most totally
I'm kind of getting Tiny Tina Wonderland's vibes, you know?
Kinda, yeah.
No. Fun fact, I do not like SpongeBob. Why does the gameplay look good? Why does this
I
look
feel
like
like
something
the
I'd
conceit
enjoy?
of a tabletop game is another good way to get characters from disparate shows together.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And Puppet Frenzy in Lies of P. Overture is a DLC expansion to Lies of P that transports players back in time with new characters, environments, and of course, imposing enemies and bosses. Here's the exclusive new look.
I like how he was saying like it's a like a continuation of the Lies of P world, but the subtitles, the closed captions said Liza P, like the name Liza.
The closed captions are great. Quiet you. I mean, Lies of P is one of those games that people said was really, really good, and they were really excited about it, but I just was not.
It's a Souls-like, and frankly, it has got to be awesome, like to get past that for me.
Yeah,
because it is gameplay mechanic that is asserted. Like they put that in there because that's a popular genre most of the time. So you get parry, stab, you get dodge roll, you get drop your souls on death, you get go to your campfires to spend them. Why do we do that? Because the maker liked Dark Souls, and it's in there without necessarily lining up with the rest of the game world.
Available today.
Looks good, but
Available today across all platforms to play, so enjoy it this weekend. All right, next up, the small video game publisher Serenity Forge, based in Boulder, Colorado.
I don't hate it, but I don't need it.
Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill. That piqued my interest.
That's a crazy mixture.
Okay, but additionally, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because the gimmick of Literature Club was very fourth wall manipulation. And what I'm more expecting to find is what you normally find when people say that kind of thing is just
it's a cute.
We're making it edgy. We're making it edgy with visuals that imply it's not. Like, I'm making dinner from organic produce and whatnot.
Beautiful. Broken. Plates of flowers. Plates and plates. The garden is lush and rich in dinner's ready.
Definitely creepy.
No, I'm only seeing the creepy. Like, which immediately pushes it out of Literature Club territory if you're putting the creepy front and center, especially in your advertisement.
Yeah, I mean,
because a big
Doki
part
Doki
of
was
the
just
media around Doki Doki was the games, like everything about the visual art was bog standard school romance visual novel.
All right, NCSoft is expanding its Blade and Soul universe. Let's take a look at the rich lore and dynamic action in Blade and Soul.
I don't care.
Just out
that was just one thing about that was even remotely related to Doki Doki, and that's it had an anime pro tag. That was it, and it was a first-person game, so you never got to see them anyway. Except maybe if there was a mirror in the room that you had to look at.
Wait. Continuing the Blade and Soul universe, Blade and Soul Neo Warlock class. So you don't have all of the stuff in Blade and Soul in your new one yet. Neat.
What is Blade and Soul?
Like Korean Chinese action RPG with predatory monetization.
Yeah.
Oh.
This being not that.
Oh?
Like the prior thing. Oh, okay, no, it's a separate thing. It's just Blade and Soul, but what if we just went full anime? Barbed wire. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? That is true. Korean action RPG with wait a minute. This is One Punch Man?
I think it's a crossover because the other character in this was not One Punch, or the other thing in this was like Chronicles of Aetolia or something like that is the name of the, or Age of Aetolia. It's just a crossover with it.
I recall I've seen ads with the great sword looking guy there.
I love how he has leeks. Or like green onions. I think it's leeks though.
They're leeks, yeah.
I'm kind of
Insane
sad
crossover.
because I would like to see a very faithful to the spirit One Punch Man game.
Oh, so cute.
Like,
oh my. Okay.
You know,
all right.
Seven
Well, Meliodas,
Deadly
come on
Sins?
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
7 Deadly Sins.
I was not expecting fucking Meliodas to appear. I was looking at the cute bird.
Looks like an open world game.
Oh, I love Elizabeth. Wait. 7 Deadly Sins was not a good anime, but I do really like some of the characters.
Disagree. I think the first season of it was really good, and then the second season and third season kind of fucked it up.
Yeah. What is this?
My
Is it
problem
like...
with a lot of anime inspired games is that they tend to do Mary Sue player insert characters paired with like what if Cliff Notes but somehow worse storyline recreation.
This looks cool.
Visually it's very pretty, like independent of media that it came from, at least it looks good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing an Overlord anime game just because the bar for not screwing it up as much as the anime is just so low.
That's fair.
This is a technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4.
Human Creator is now fully integrated into Unreal Engine.
You're seeing me live in real time.
Squid Game will be coming to UEFN.
It started with an epic mega grant, and it's now a serious contender for Game of the Year.
I appreciate what Unreal Engine is capable of, but Unreal Engine does occupy a space in game development where, because it is touted as this fantastic tool set, people seem to sometimes assume it's the one that you should learn. You know, that's the big boy tool. And it is, again, it's the difference between, do you want to code something in like Java or C# versus do you want to do you seek to interact with drivers?
Yeah.
As far as the difference of capabilities, yes, it's capable of so much. It is incredibly powerful.
Jurassic Park?
It has a Jurassic Park-y vibe.
I think it's World 2.
What's that?
Find a way.
They have the Jurassic Park game that's all about building your own park. I think this is the sequel to that.
3? Oh my god! This looks cool! What the hell?
I mean, the general concept of them was interesting. The, actually run the park, deal with breaches, that kind of thing.
So it's like
Yep,
a zoo
Zell,
game.
the dinos don't have enough feathers. Jurassic Park is from the, what was it called? There's a term in paleontology that is called shrink wrapping.
Yeah, they do shrink wrapping for it.
Yep, where the impression of dinosaurs that most of us grew up with resulted from people taking skeletons and just putting muscle and skin over them and nothing else.
Now, that said, the Evolution 2 did actually try to fix some of that by saying, like, well, it's what we had to use to mix their DNA with to make them survive. And then they also, like, improved upon the cloning formulas and managed to make the versions that have fat and feathers on them as well.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of the dinosaurs in Evolution 2 that are feathered.
I haven't found it again, but there was an art book that I found. I saw at one point that was, what if we took modern animals and did that to them? Like, geese are horror shows if you do that.
Yes. They end up looking a lot like those old, Dark Ages images of what people thought turtles looked like, Like,
this music is good.
Not accurate at all.
A cute little
that's cute.
Game Boy Color era ARPG.
Sorry.
Like rat. I'm down with being a kick-ass little Monster Slayer rat.
That's pretty much just you, Tess.
Though proportionally, that is a Monster Slayer mouse, most likely. At least as far as its art is presented.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad about it. Give me a rat, damn it.
Kyle Bossman, everyone.
But our stigma, Tess, our stigma.
All right, well, let's see what this says. Hey, Jeffy. If you're reading this, it means 3 things. Number 1, you're killing it at the fest with your oodles of totally natural charisma. Debatable. B, I'm at your house playing long darts with the fam. And 3, you're going to do me a solid and skip that Silk Song trailer so you can pimp my revolutionary VR gaming venture that will shock the industry probably. A wet one on the lips, comma, Wade.
All right, we have the school notebook doodle background going on. Mature audiences only.
Handcrafted with cuddles by the Merc with a MetaQuest. Kick back and bask in the glory of gaming's first quintuple egg tropical farming sim experience. Oh, hi, new friend.
Am I muting this because we have copyright music playing in the background of this game trailer? Yes, I am. I mean, Deadpool is one of those characters that I don't mind seeing in a lot of games just because the whole nature of the animal is he's kind of everywhere, Yeah. It's like Spider-Verse games that explore different elements of Spider-Verse, Like, actually explore them as opposed to just, look, there's all these Spider-Men in the same place. Spider-Man gets Insomniac, and this is what I get?
Nice.
All right, real quickly, stepping away. I will be right back.
Mm-hmm. What is this?
Dying Light, the Beast. Zombie game.
Oh, no. Didn't know it was a
One of the
zombie
ones
game.
that I recommended that we might play, so...
Oh, fuck that. No thanks. Oh. Don't like that.
And I returned. Dying Light is one of its big selling points is the parkour element that we're seeing. Late Dying Light 1, they introduced vehicles as well. Dying Light 2 had issues.
Kind of a step back a little bit, yeah.
Dying Light 2 had a lot of problems with its, make choices about which side you side with, and I think that part they bumbled, and it kind of cost them a lot as far as the game was concerned.
That said, Dying Light has always been good about their zombies not being just random ass zombies. They're horror shows in and of themselves.
Yeah, and the special ones are like the ones that they showed, the ones with the kind of altered mandibles, are genuinely a problem to deal with. Like,
No
the
amount
basic
gunfire
mechanic of
that
them
can
is
kill them
run
most of the
away.
time. Yep. Yeah, until like the very late game in the first Dying Light, you can't kill one. They're invincible, and when they show up, you're gonna die.
It's not unless you have guns in and they did guns well in Dying Light 1, and that's the zombies can hear. They are attracted to sound. So you pull the trigger once and you've got a horde coming after you.
Yep.
Well, let's just leave that muted.
Good call.
What is this? Firestarter all grown up? Hello, Daniel. Welcome. We are watching Summer Game Fest with Okami Sky and Taz. It's definitely a different thing, but I am kind of getting Night in the Woods vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
As opposed to returning to the town where, you grew up and, realizing how little you've changed and how much they are changing, This is much more that vibe of, this is all coming to an end,
Yeah.
So interesting to see how they carry that. That might be neat.
I feel like the age target audience of that was not quite where they wanted it to be, though.
Very medieval medieval Japan kind of vibes here. Like medieval Japan high fantasy,
Yep.
Oh, this looks cool.
Gorgeous. Take this. And just getting started. Let's put it into action.
It's very cute. That little crafting game there looked
Wait.
like Fantasy Lives.
Is this like a roguelike?
Get ready.
It's at least ARPG vibes. Your Diablo style combat vibes.
On in this world. No matter what hardships await.
Zell calling out, what if Hades but Japan?
With hope.
Yeah, I would play the fuck out of this.
The character designs are adorable.
Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
I want to know
Looks neat.
more.
September 19th. There you go.
Global announcement of Toa, a new roguelike from Bandai Namco and developed.
Yeah, I was right.
Sounds like it might be, you know, Hades but Japan.
Next, we want to introduce you to a game made by a first-time solo developer in Bandung, Indonesia. With the help of 9 of his friends, he's built an intense action beat-em-up with brutal hand-to-hand combat set in his hometown. This is Acts of Blood.
They left me with nothing. Not justice.
That name, though.
Just names.
Axe of Blood.
The hunt isn't over. Not until I
Which would have to either be a very visceral combat game or some sort of like garage band from your high school. Hello, Chicago. We are Axe of Blood.
I'm getting very it's like Mortal Kombat mixed with that one game from a couple years ago where you play the Kung Fu guy.
That like it's got the like bone break, like, you know, gritty fighting game thing. But yeah, it's got that vibe of that Sifu game.
Yeah. Always picking spoilers with a gun. All right. I'm in.
Chainsaw guy with welding mask. Go.
Yep.
I think there was an action movie at some point that was part of the gimmick was the guy had like, you know, regular person commercially available self-defense weapons for the area, so it was just like a collapsible baton and a stun gun.
Now it is time for the reveal of the next game from Montreal-based Tribute.
Barbed wire. It's still better than a name like Chronicle Medieval.
Which you saw a little bit earlier.
True.
If you're like me,
This
you've
is
been
true.
waiting for more than a decade for this reveal.
Oh.
Saw floating coins. You are already on the back foot as far as quality. Unnecessary vegans joke. The vegans. This is Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least that look. Nope, Scott Pilgrim. That's got to be him. Amusingly, the manga / comic book, this is very much that art style. The beat 'em up Scott Pilgrim was good. It's they continue their throwback to like the River City games. You know, beat 'em up with RPG elements.
I think the style was really cute.
It is, yeah. As far as like the concept of the fiction is interesting, but I can't say I'm like I've kept up with the actual brand or anything like that.
All right, we're going to be right back. But first, we have a very special
I
message
particularly
from Megan
found
Robertson,
Scott Pilgrim's
TGA winner in
plot to be all that
2021
relevant, though.
performance in Resident
It was
Evil Village.
okay. You know?
Oh, what?
Ah, there you are. Wait long. We've been preparing delightful ways to make you suffer. So enter
I
the
thought that's
village,
who that was.
We've slashed the price to be lower than ever for you simple little man things. Still thirsty? Worry not, you ungrateful wretch. There's plenty more fun to go around.
Are we gonna get Resident Evil
Cease
5?
this foolishness and make your decision, my
No, they're just advertising a sale on for
No.
Capcom. That is really disappointing in what is otherwise announcements, is to have an advertisement for a developer brand.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just straight up, we're having a sale advertisement.
Ow, 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 ow. Sorry.
The first descendant obsessed with showing ass and boobies. Never
As
humanly
bad as a
possible.
man.
I haven't
like a porn game,
heard
it's fine.
anything recently about this game. I know it was one of those. They wanted to get that, like, hey, get the latest character, grind the content, but they kind of, to my understanding, they stumbled. At least during release. Maybe they fixed it later.
What the hell? What is this? What am I looking at? Is this like PUBG?
I mean, there's a lot going on here. That looked like a mecha zombie. The implant on the base of the at the base of the skull. You don't see a lot of mecha zombies. Well, the music took a turn for the worse.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Wow, the quality is just dropping as the ad goes on. It's amazing.
I don't understand what's happening right now.
Crude nonsense and like clearly like joke violence vibes.
That was very crude. Very, very crude.
Hindsight, Hindsight one of the ones that I like. I can't remember. It sounds familiar.
So, Rust, but everything is memes. Like, everything is memes built into the game. Is that a... Why do you have a surgical, like a mechanical surgical hammer? Like, that wasn't a probe or something like that, or a insert it into an implant. That was clearly designed to bonk them and then have the claws enter. Like, there's no other use for that form factor.
You were a good soldier.
Nurse, hand me my cyber surgical hammer. Looks pretty. Oh, this is that. This is that one that had the weird usage of the word paradox in its ad.
June 10th.
Where, like, in the future, there will be a paradox where in which the AI takes over or something. It starts to become sentient. That's not a paradox.
Bro has a barcode on the back of his head.
That's
Hitman.
Yeah, that is the main character of Hitman, Agent 47.
The agents have shaved heads and barcodes.
Oh.
Build a Rocket Boy and IO partners.
I've never actually played a Hitman game, but the recent one I feel like I should play just for murder simulator purposes.
All of the Hitmen are very good, actually. They actually do what a Hitman game should do, where like every map has solutions where no one will ever know that you were there or killed anyone. There is always a way to completely stealth complete the job without using a gun.
It's coming in 2026.
Or you can dress up as like a fast food delivery guy and kill somebody with a fish.
There's also comic deaths for almost every single one. There's also the I'm a really good sniper, I'm just going to find a high place and kill all my targets from so far away nobody knows I was there. Those games are very well done in general.
Let's go gambling.
Known only as Le Chiffre, a financial
I actually would be interested in this game. I like the idea of them having the 007 franchise as a thing.
What is 007?
I'm turning to dust. Newt, help me.
I know their weaknesses. Mr. Rengang.
I'm so
007
serious.
is one of the like the spy movie franchises.
Yes. Have you ever heard of James Bond?
I've heard of the name.
Okay, James Bond is 007. It is like, it is a series of books originally that was like the introduction to the world to espionage books.
Is it
or
like
espionage
Carmen
concepts.
Sandiego?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Like, in every way, no.
Okay. Did it! I'm ignorant.
We know our players waited a long time for 007 First Light.
Supervillains, secret spies sent in to stop them. That kind, you know, evil genius kind of stuff, supervillains, or, you know, mega businessmen.
Join me here. As a matter of fact, he is
Okay.
here with us today.
That's right, everyone at Summer Game Fest, please welcome the great Mads Mikkelsen.
A lot of the spy movie gimmicks come out of that.
Yeah, we'll watch a couple of the 007 movies at some point. They're pretty good. I mean, a lot of them
I'm
are
gonna
good.
be
A lot of them are
educated.
bad.
Mads, you are Cliff, but you're also Agent 47.
It is a series that was so popular, it was very prolific.
We know from Casino Royale.
Yep, that's it. And you know, this is I've always had a deep love for this character.
I mean, we have to remember, Taz, that we lived in a very different time than she did growing up. You know, we were both born around the time that color photography came into existence.
Oh my God, yes.
You guys have TVs?
That's correct. Did we what?
Have TVs?
I don't know. Did that come out about the time as the phonograph?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Were you aware, Sky, that TVs used to have actual physical knobs on them that you would have to use to change the channel?
Yes. Yeah, my grandparents had one.
While keeping surprises for our players.
They also used to have antennas.
Agent 47
Kill
has
me.
a very different set
I
of
wanna
skills,
die.
and the mission will be handled in very different creative ways.
Yeah, he's not gonna beat me in poker. He's gonna figure something else out.
It's
So I guess it is not
TV aerials are one of those things that I look at, like, I grew up in situations where those were a thing, and now I will see advertisements or people touting like, you can get free all over the airways TV. All you need is this attachment, and it's fucking rabbit ears for a TV.
Yep.
It's like, no.
We wanted to surprise you, so the team is updating.
Zell, we are very old.
I'm not me.
Today, in a few hours.
We are currently streaming somebody that talks about, you know, I saw Final Fantasy XI being played when I was a baby.
Yeah, well, not baby, but I was like 6 years old or something.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make it any better.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Great to see you.
When I was 6, that was like 20 years ago.
Great stuff. All right, now here's the announcement of a new party game coming later this year.
I wanna
It will
die.
delight Lego fans with over 1 million Lego bricks, 300 minifigures, and over 700 trillion minifigure combinations.
It's Saturday night somewhere, so make some noise for Lego Party! Get ready for a nail-biting
Okay, this is another place that, if it's relatively original IP, that, okay,
Wait,
Mario Party with Lego.
Mario Party?
That could
How
be,
is this
that
not
could be
like,
cute.
okay. I'm so confused though. So I was talking about Power World the other day, and Nintendo patented like the Pokeball throw. How are they not patenting like Mario Party?
Because
How
this
is this not a
game,
problem?
because they can't. Because Mario
Why?
Party is a copy of other games of the type.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't
Yeah.
original.
That is absolutely not original. Party games.
I wish
Pokeball
another
throw
company
isn't
would do that back to
original.
Nintendo.
That
True,
is
Pokeball
that is
is
stuff
on
that
the-
is being built up in the lawsuit with Pocket Pair, because they are Pocket Pair is very clearly calling out, we have enough money, we're fighting this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the patents that Nintendo has trotted out are all of the
Complete
BS.
BS. Yes.
that is looking mighty tasty.
All right, next a new look at a new
I mean,
team
if
shooter
anything,
from
Dragon
Team
Ball would be the one to claim. We invented the idea of storing a big thing in a small thing.
The most treacherous region of space, hoping to get
Yep.
their hands on the artifact. The game is called Wildgate, and the open beta starts.
Why have I
next
heard of
week
this
during
game?
Steam Next Fest, and we're also very happy to announce the game will launch on July 24th.
Don't recall having
PlayStation
seen
5,
that
and
name.
Xbox. Let's see what it means to get into some serious space shenanigans.
I don't like that word.
Shenanigans?
Yeah.
Well, all I've got
Just
to
want
say
to be
is
clear.
that comes
Was that a space owl with a winged
Yeah, I think
jetpack?
so. I think so.
Mute the music for YouTube purposes.
I mean, I like the ship designs.
I mean, they've got like ship-to-ship content. They have ships of like plausible size for a for this, as opposed to, you know, everything's a capital ship. It may be interesting.
Team behind the Guacamelee
Again,
series,
execution is
and
everything on
nobody
that kind of
saves the
gameplay.
world. They're making a full 3D game that can be played alone or with a friend in co-op. You can find out more during Day of the Devs right after the show, but for now,
Alone or
here
with
is
a
the
friend
global
in
reveal
co-op.
of Blighted.
There's some redundancy in that second thing. Just say alone or with a friend. Hey, look, more dark fantasy. Okay. Nobody Saves the World was kind of neat, and Guacamelee, I'm told, was interesting. Kind of luchador Metroidvania.
Oh? This reminds me of Hades.
It's very much got that sort of DNA to it.
Oh, that's so cool, though. Spooky.
Much more your body horror amalgamation monsters. I mean, looks neat.
There is more Blighted coming up right after the show in Day of the Devs. All right, next is a first-person survival action horror game from Team Clout. It's a new team of 50 with founders in Canada and Armenia. They partnered with the new Munfish Powerhouse label to bring this insane Unreal Engine
That is
5
true,
game
Zell.
to
The
life
the
with unpredictable
let's make our own Hades is running the risk of turning into that. Well,
like
studios are running the risk of the same thing that we get with
Ooh,
Souls likes and similar. Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
but oh.
I'm seeing a bit of Dead Space there with the little almost some of the carrion vibe with the way those little tendrils were spreading.
No. Nope. Yeah, shoot him. It kind of reminded me of toddlers throwing a little bit of a tantrum.
They do have.
Oh my God.
I'm a big soft boy vibe. Oh.
Oh.
Hard to tell if that was an amalgam or if that was a.
That was
okay.
definitely
Very
amalgam.
Dead Space necromorph there.
Yes.
Oh, big man, hopeful big man.
Man, that was an
That was
that was a big head.
That was a very big head.
Oh.
Okay, I'm all of a sudden.
No.
Oh.
It's over.
Ah, little toddler monsters.
I can field goal kick him. Fuck yeah, I love that.
Babies. please. All right, Mecha Break is one of 2025's most anticipated shooters, with its previous beta amassing over 300,000 concurrent players on Steam and 3 million.
That man just called it a beta.
In this game, you explore a
Beta.
sci-fi universe and pilot powerful mechs with immersive aerial and ground combat. As a top wish-listed game, players are clamoring to know just one thing: when is the release date? Well, here's Mecha Break's latest trailer with the answer.
You know, alpha, beta.
Omega, Alpha, Beta.
I was excited about this one when I first saw it, and then it's an extraction shooter, so I don't care anymore.
What's extraction shooter mean?
Go in, get stuff, get out before other players kill you and take the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
The PvP element of this ruins it for me. I like big mechs. I really do. I don't want the PvP element.
Extraction shooter is currently one of the big AAA obsessions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like hardcore Gundam front missions, like more Gundam-y anime mechas. But I would be down for that if we don't get, like, if they were to back off on like hard PvP, you know.
Yeah. Give me PvE mode and I'll come and play your game.
Big gun. Oh.
But yeah, these are very much Gundam slash, not front missions. Front missions is much more.
Yeah, front mission is more grounded, kind of like
this is,
chunky military kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is
Gundam.
more
This is Gundam.
This is Gundam or Armored Core.
Power Ranger.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Wishlist now. We showed you no gameplay.
I mean, believe it or not, the gameplay is even faster than that. It's fucking weird.
I mean, more. It's the gameplay is going to be way less cinematic than that.
Yes.
This is Infinitesimals.
Infinite decimals?
Sounds like infinitesimals. Not disliking the robot formats there. You have alien dudes.
Alien dudes
giant
and
beetle.
fighter robots.
We must now face a stark reality.
Is this like you're in a
Avatar?
You're in a yard, but you're also aliens.
It's got a vibe of like either
Honey,
this
I
is
Took
a
a
very
Ant.
miniature.
Alien.
Yeah, it's like very. It's either a world with proportionally giant stuff, or it's got the vibe of, what was it called? Grounded.
It reminds me of the Ants movie.
It's like
I watched
sci-fi
with the-
grounded.
With the grasshoppers.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Whatever it takes, we find a way.
I mean,
So the name implies that it is very tiny, like that we are at the small scale.
Marks the 30th anniversary of a legendary
So 40K Bugs Life.
that I think we all know very well. Please check this out.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Oh, here's a Resident Evil something.
Yeah.
I called it.
Return to Raccoon City would be one remake.
Wait.
Yeah.
Or is this just another callback to, hey, by the way, we're having a sale? Because this is, we're having a sale,
Wait.
lady.
What? Are we getting like a remake of 5, please? I'll shit myself right now.
皆様のおかげでバイオハザードも30周年を迎えることができました。ありがとうございます。さて、お待たせしているバイオハザードの最新作なんですが、もう少しだけ、あと瞬きするぐらいの間だけお待ちいただければと思います。それでは、これからもバイオハザードシリーズよろしくお願いいたします。ありがとうございました。
That I got nothing.
Oh, we're so close. We're so close, but not today.
We cannot wait for when the time is right to share more leading into the anniversary of Resident Evil. Now it is time for the next big update for a beloved franchise.
Oh, okay, beloved. WWE.
Let's rumble.
Sorry! That was ridiculous.
Real life Pompadour.
Well,
nice.
This is Street Fighter?
Tekken?
That's Steve Viper's a Street Fighter character. What the fuck is this?
I'm so confused.
Whatever is in your workout supplements, you need to stop, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, yeah. It's gotta be.
This is such a 90s commercial.
It really is a 90s commercial. What the fuck is happening? Oh, it's introducing the characters they're going to add to Street Fighter 6. Okay, this makes sense.
That's cool.
This is the next season.
Here's
worth of
1 and
characters.
2 Fighters Edition.
Now, to be fair, Sagat has always been my favorite Street Fighter character, so...
If I recall, Sagat was like the villain of one of the original Street Fighter.
Yep, he is the villain of the original Street Fighter. He's the victor of that first one. Actually, I think Ryu beats him.
Ryu is the victor. Yeah, that the original game is where they where Sagat gets his scar because of Ryu's punch.
Yep.
Steve in the chat said, for you guys, the guy in the trailer was Kenny Omega. He's a pro wrestler from AEW. He loves Street Fighter.
Ah, well, good for him.
This is like what? Disco aesthetic Team Fortress?
I mean, to be fair,
I'm not
another Team Fortress.
Unhappy about that. Like 70s to 80s aesthetic. Oh, it's full capture the flag. Like, the way they're presenting that is it's not like take it from their base, it's you conceal it. You place what is your base, you know?
Yeah.
I do love the advent of the hero shooter where it became a term and that wasn't a new thing at the time. Team Fortress was ultimately the first time that you had that. Where I am playing as the heavy. People looked at that and they're like, oh, but that was just a class. It's like, no, it was a person with loadout and abilities.
Yep. Yeah, the personality and everything.
Well, Team Fortress 2, they actually gave them hard characters, but the whole concept was already well established.
Oh, yeah.
Something I would definitely mispronounce, Fallen Feathers.
Okay.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, but that kind of name means that we're talking like Chinese style pronunciation, which means there's inflection and letters that don't that I don't have the proper pronunciation for.
Fair enough.
Oh, so pretty.
It's like that Spanish R, you know? That. See if I can keep my sections I have to try to extract music from down to like 30 seconds. Looks neat. Okay, we're having images of Wu-Tang Clan, but tell me why.
There's a Wu-Tang Clan way back in the Sega Genesis days.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
A lot of times, though, that kind of media feels like it has been grafted in, you know?
Yeah.
Like hard grafted in, because they will create a fiction around the, like a rap group or something like that, that is often completely disconnected.
Of the Receiver is a
Looking
new
at you,
co-op
Shaq
action
Fu.
RPG with anime-style fighting, and it's the debut title from the 53-member Brass Lion Entertainment. Now,
Anime-style
here's a
fighting
look
is
at
not a thing. I
Guild
didn't know
Wars
if you
2, which
knew
has
that or
new
not, but
updates,
that's not.
including player housing and is free to play. This weekend, to celebrate SGF, you can take advantage of double XP.
I get what they're going for by saying anime-style fighting, though. This is Guild Wars 2. It's the over-the-top animation, but that has become so pervasive that calling it anime style is like saying JRPG now.
Why are you showing stuff that was in the game 20 years ago, people? They just showed like 3 fights that I played back when I played Guild Wars 3, and that has been around.
This is absolutely a, hey, we still exist, please.
Yep, please come
Please
play our
buy
game.
in now.
Oh, so cute.
Backroom.
Adorable as it is, I am definitely seeing a. This has got to be, Netmarble's Genshin.
Is it a creature catcher?
Or Power
It's
World?
unclear. But if we look, Genshin, Wuthering Waves.
No, I'm seeing the aesthetic for sure.
Well, the combat too.
Oh my god, so cute.
Character art, I mean, a particular anime style. Here's our cavalcade of things that exist. I feel like for the spooky game Make Sky Panic collab that we're planning, we may need to like pre-test some games.
I think I agree with that.
I don't want to pre-test anything.
Well, we mean we're gonna test them to see.
Oh. Okay.
This is not an ad for new Cyberpunk. This is an ad for the fact that they put it on Switch 2.
Long story.
Oof.
I get that people were hyped, but Switch 2 is just a like we improved some of the chipset in an existing console. And there's something kind of sad about that. Like, this was an upgrade for the sake of having an upgrade.
It feels very buy the latest iPad to me.
Yes. We're getting a lot of toony games. Both like, old school toon style, but like your claymation, your Muppets, that kind of stuff.
Another relapse, huh? Get well soon.
This Ghost Devil sends cat guy to psychedelic rehab.
Yeah, that has some real Cuphead-ish vibes. Not just the art style, but also, I guess the art style and specifically the art style has some real Cuphead vibes.
Always be so easy.
Yeah.
More than just cartoony.
In this case, it's like 3D, but still preserving that
uniquely Cuphead-y.
Yeah.
You still look a little unwell.
Hey guys, I'm Ian Prue, the co-founder of 1047 Games. When we started Splitgate in our dorm room, we just wanted to make a game we could play with our friends. And 20 million of you played
Splitgate
with us.
falls into a shooter category that I'm just not interested in. That is the high velocity shooter,
Because I grew up
Yep,
playing
and I want someone to kick you in the nuts
tired
for
of
your
playing
hat.
the same Call of Duty every year. And I wish we could have Titanfall 3.
Yes.
With Splitgate 2, we asked ourselves,
He
how would we
needs
take
that bat
Portals
to
the next
like
level? What if you
for
could
this to be
portal
redeemed, he has
entirely
brought that
different
bat
worlds?
for it to be
So we
deployed
combined
against
the
him.
action, movement, and gunplay of arena shooters with the scale and intensity.
And there was a lotto in the office to determine who gets to take that hat off his head.
Awesome.
Weird choice.
Not only is it a MAGA reference, it's a black hat MAGA reference. So it is the
Elon Musk variant.
Yes. And especially right now,
yeah,
you decided to do that layered reference right now.
Yes.
This was a bad choice. It's the competitive, gather weaponry around the map, kind of your Apex vibe with a Portal gimmick.
I would not, honestly, if you'd have showed me this and Apex, I would not have been able to tell the difference between the two of them.
yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a character in Apex that does something like that anyway.
For me, this reminds me too much of Tribes, and I wasn't into Tribes either.
That's true, yeah.
Tribes was a very similar mechanic, but with generally it was like high-speed grappling hook launching yourself around.
Oh, hell yeah. New Yakuza game? Or is this...
You guys just got one, didn't you?
Art style is
It's going out every year.
Art style is pretty different.
Nope, this is the fighting game. This is Virtua Fighter 5, I think? Virtua Fighter 6? One of the two. This is the Virtua Fighter game. That's Akira.
I remember encountering Virtua Fighter when it was initially released in the arcades, and I never thought it looked good. Like,
Well, it didn't.
Final Fantasy VII got away with its chonky models because of the generally you were not like directly controlling them and you were a step away from them.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like Virtua Fighter.
It doesn't. Is this the project that they showed last year that it is? Oh, never mind. Okay.
This has the street gangs look that you got out of Kung Fu Hustle, like that kind of street gang.
Yeah.
Again, execution. Only reason I didn't like the mainline Yakuza vibe is I felt that the controls, like your interaction with the combat, was bad.
Oh, the first few, it absolutely was bad.
Yeah. The look, the vibe, nice, but
That's right, yeah. Stranger Than Heaven is the name of the game. All right.
Huh.
You saw it
Hell yeah,
last
I'm
year as
excited.
Project Century set in 1915, and now the full name has been revealed. Stranger Than Heaven,
1915,
the brand new
wow.
title from RGG Studio. This time it's now 1943, and knowing RGG, I'm sure more surprises are surely on their way. All right, well, we're almost done here, but we do have one final, very special global game announcement to share with all of you who've been waiting. Today, we've showcased a lot of projects from teams around the world, including many brand new studios, and we're proud of that. But this one comes from a studio that is no stranger to delivering blockbuster games time and again. When I first got a glimpse at this project,
use of the word blockbuster for the games is a red flag, not a positive.
Scope and ambition of this developer's
It's right up there with saying things like quadruple A.
places, really any place this game could have been revealed. We are so deeply honored that we get to share it with the world right here at Summer Game Fest.
Juan thinks you're funny, Newt.
Well, thank you.
What the hell? What am I watching?
Intense typing action.
She types so slow for clicking all those keys.
I mean, it's going to be terrible for her posture to have that, like, legs up on the chair thing going. But I appreciate showing somebody doing actual desk stretches. Like, I'm at a desk job typing stretches.
Coming.
Yes, Elle. Like Elle from Death Note.
Yeah, exactly. I got
Perched
the same
upon
vibe.
the chair. Come on, high production value, actual murder mystery game. Come on.
No, 2 days tops.
Put a hold on that for now. We found another body. One that exhibits the same pathology as the others we've been investigating. Now, I need a good technical analyst on this.
Okay.
I need your eyes on the crime scene. The Renwood Hotel.
I mean, that's a very expensive case file. I wouldn't pay my eyes for that.
Alyssa died 8 years ago. Perhaps it's time for you to face the past. Grace.
Prototype. I would love to see a remaster or a return to that setting. I like the prototype games. They They had kind of the action RPG vibe of the Carrion game. Well, that's a great big old crater.
Getting all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Like post-apocalyptic?
You are my hope.
Right. At the very least, this
RPG?
city got nuked.
That's RPD! That's RPD! That's RPD!
Is this? So is this
That's
the
RPD!
Resident Evil?
Yeah, the Resident Evil thing they taunted us with earlier? Resident
Yeah.
Evil Requiem. Resident Evil 9.
It's not 5.
That doesn't
but it's
look
fine.
bad.
There you have it. Resident Evil Requiem.
I called
And it'll
it!
be playable to fans this August at Gamescom.
It is
We're
Cal's
also
birthday
hosting
too!
Opening Night Live on Tuesday, August 19th. Resident Evil Requiem marks a bold shift for the franchise, both in tone and gameplay, and today's reveal isn't just about survival horror. Expect high-stakes cinematic action too, with much more to share soon leading up to its launch on February 27th, 2026. Amazing. Thank you.
I just want to see Wesker, bro. Like, please.
Surprise. All right. That's gonna do it
Please.
for our live Summer Game Fest show. Let's thank our co-host, Lucy James. Didn't she do a great job, everyone?
So do we want to do you want to keep going, Sky? They have within like a little bit they'll be shifting into the indie one if we want to continue.
It's up to you.
This was our
I'm feeling a
target
little
session.
EP.
So I think I'm down to wrap up right about now. We had some good stuff.
Yeah, we did.
This is much more tolerable than they usually are.
Yes. I appreciate that they didn't try to make this like a big, like they're not pretending this is the Oscars, you know?
Yeah, I think last year it was kind of cringe
the
a little
Game
bit.
Awards are always excruciating to watch for that reason.
Yeah.
It's like this big, like, oh man, come up and give a speech about your game that got an award because we had an open vote.
Oh my god, why is that so loud? Jesus.
Their intermission scenes, like before the awards launched, like when they were getting ready to launch, also had really loud music.
Wow.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Crazy.
Yep.
My ears, yeah.
Maybe Gamescom will have some Square Enix stuff. The Square Enix thing was that murder mystery game that had weird shooter mechanics also.
Wait, what is Silk Song?
That is the like long awaited sequel / something for name escapes me now.
Yeah, it's a little
The one with the little
platformer
white
game.
mask beetle guy.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight.
Oh, I've never played Hollow Knight.
I have played it.
supposedly
I
it's
have
very
never
good.
really gotten far into it. Like
supposedly it gets very
gameplay
good.
wise,
There's-
visually, good stuff.
Supposedly there is a decent little story also embedded in there.
To my understanding, Silk Song is associated with a particular other character inside of Hollow Knight. It's like red caped one with a sewing needle weapon instead of the nail of the title character.
Juan said people have been waiting so long, longer than
Yes.
Metroid 4.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Most of Nintendo's IPs, I just assume that they're never really going to get anywhere with them. Either they will drag their feet forever and give us something that sounds like, oh man, that'll be cool, but then we're going to end up with what was the Metroid that they tried to turn it into a third-person action RPG? The one with the really
Don't ask me.
terrible plot? Other M.
Yeah, other M, yeah. And
Yeah, the one
it
where they
wasn't
turned
even,
Samus
like,
into a real like traumatized submissive girl.
yeah, and they also there was also like a bunch of crap about like a bunch of mercenaries being like major factions in the world too. And it was like, that's not what this game's ever been about. Why is that a thing?
I mean, the Federation soldiers and whatnot have made appearances in the narratives, but they're never front and center. And they made a big deal about them in that game. Both the way that they gave the commanding officer such a weird, like, not just that he was giving orders, but also that it had a very controlling vibe. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you have some of your abilities back, but it's because I'm such a nice person and you've been a good girl, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, it was very
Ugh.
icky like that.
And it was such a departure from the vibe of Samus. This very
Yeah.
very like powerful character running around to suddenly be like, yeah, I'll turn my powered armor off for you.
Yuck. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it was very strange. This is a very horror heavy games fest.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
it was.
like a lot of the imagery, I can't say I dislike it. I loved what they did with the Code Vein style. That sort of like steampunk gilded, but with the brutal weaponry that Vane had in there was neat.
I didn't see them doing any of the code vein of drink the enemy's blood type stuff, but maybe that is a mechanic that is slightly different.
You
now.
saw some of it still. Is the all of the weapons as far as the absorbing the blood was always through like pipe work in the weapons. So everything had these weird like syringe and tube attachments to them. The way the claws stabbed into them was part of the gimmick, you know. But I don't know, because of the whole like golden blood thing, are we going to see a return to the very heavy vampire vibes, or is it going to just be more something new? I liked the visuals there. We had a whole bunch of gritty dark fantasy world ones, and they're blurring together in my mind, but there was still there's still a lot of potential in this. Liking what I saw. Most
Sad
of
that
what I
Square
saw.
Enix's presence was something that was completely unrelated to any IP I understand. Although it did seem like it could be a fun game if it's done right, but that's a big if.
The Lambs and Wolves thing, the Murder
Yeah.
Inn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the gameplay that they showed was nothing but worrying.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That is fair, Barbed Wire. There was nothing in here that was like, oh man, it's that thing that I've been wanting to see for me.
Yeah, that's true. I felt the same.
I've wanted another game like this or in this line. I didn't see anything like that. Though I have been very tempted to pick up some of the newer Resident Evil games. Some of the older ones never impressed me.
I would say Resident Evil Village.
Like 7 and onward were the ones that I was interested in.
7 is really good. I don't know how I feel about 8. I played 7. 7 was good because it was a return to the you are not a zombie slaying demon monster person. It was a lot of like, oh,
you are
shit.
an injured dude in a terrible place.
Yes. 8 kind of had a return to you have a lot of guns and you're really good at killing zombies that I didn't much care for. And 8 also had the problem of it really, really, really tried to oversell itself on the big vampire lady.
Yeah.
She was just not that present in the game, man.
Yeah. If the fan base were to be believed, she's in every other room.
Let me just say, I did not see very much porn of the vampire or of the werewolf guy. or the Frankenstein guy.
That was a very, I don't know, I'm kind of sad with how Resident Evil went, because I feel like the last few games could have been like their own entity without Resident Evil attached to
They
it.
really could have, and that is kind of
This is-
going back to that thing we were talking about. Stop attaching the name to it just for name recognition's sake. If Capcom comes out making a horror game, it doesn't matter what it is. People are going to play it because their previous 2 IPs for horror games are touted as some of the best in video gaming history.
Yeah,
Like,
they didn't need
what
to,
about
like,
the
put it under that
visuals and
name.
advertisement of your game needed the RE logo to sell it? Like, that Resident Evil one didn't scream Resident Evil until they showed the sign.
Yep. It just screamed, this is a fairly interesting horror game. I would be interested to play this. And to be honest, adding the RE on it made me want to play it just a tiny bit less.
Yeah, it's sell the game on its own merits.
Yeah.
And there are some of them that I think genuinely, there are games that genuinely catch flack from the fan base of the game, and fan bases can be so toxic. Final Fantasy 16.
Yep. Final Fantasy 16 is a great game. It is a great game.
If it was not Final Fantasy 16, they just called it something else, they probably could have gotten away a lot less damaged.
Yep.
Happens constantly. BioShock Infinite, while it is set in the world, didn't need to be BioShock.
I don't know why it's like such a common thing to do that.
Name recognition and self-fulfilling corporate prophecy.
Yep, they
If
believe
the game
that if
does
they
well,
put
it's
name on
because it was a franchise. If it does badly, it's because it wasn't.
Weird.
But it can't be, it does well without it, and it's like, oh man, this was a good thing. Or, you know, it had name recognition and it tanked. Well, if it had name recognition and it tanked, people just don't want this kind of game anymore. It's name recognition will get you sales for that, but it can cause, it's not free, you know? It's you had better deliver, and you had better deliver well enough to sell it to the existing fan base. Final Fantasy VII keeps catching hell too.
Yeah, for the same reason people don't like the remake, because it's not what the original was.
Yeah, it's not precisely what the original was.
Even though it's literally like remake. Not remastered, remake.
Yeah, but I mean, there are people who had unrealistic, I mean, not only unrealistic, but also just silly expectations for what that meant, you know? They wanted, give me my turn-based combat with all of the characters that I like, and every single scene, you know,
Exactly as I remember it.
Yes.
Not as it was, as I remember it.
Yes. There are,
you know,
you remember Dying, right, Sky?
Yeah, of course I
Dying
do.
dies.
Yeah.
There are people who thought that scene was really terrible because of
How?
the location where it occurred.
So how does that make a fucking difference to how... What?
Yep. Yeah, no.
Narratively,
Doesn't
it doesn't
take away the
really make a
emotional
difference.
impact.
Yeah, narratively, it doesn't make a difference at all. The thing that makes people upset is that it originally takes place in the town where all of that happened, in the ruins of the town where the ruins of Old Corel.
I don't really think that makes that big of a difference.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't make much of a difference, but people make a big deal of it because they want it to be less meaningful. They want the remake to not be good, and to convince people that the remake is not good for
That's
some reason.
crazy.
And I'm just like, I mean, and the thing is, people will, like, your experience with Final Fantasy VII is different from mine, Sky. Like I said, I did not like Crisis Core at all. I don't think it's a good game for what I like, but it is what people are going to experience now, and if they enjoy it, I am very happy for them. And I will not say that, like, Crisis Core is a bad game. That is subjective, first of all. And second of all, it's not a bad game. It's just, it does something I didn't like. And that's really all it is. And if somebody was all that upset about like where Dine dies in the game, I have no respect for them to then come out and say like it's a shit game because they totally fucked up this one part. And it's like, I don't care.
It's just ridiculous. I think people just are afraid to form their own opinions or like step away from something they're familiar from. Like you can still go back and play OG, believe it or not, actually.
Yep.
It's
Like if
for
you
me,
like it
I
that
was
much.
like, I was repelled from initially trying things like 7 Remake because my memory of 7 is not as fond. Like like my memories of like some of the characterizations and plot points are flawed and wrong. Like, but in the direction of I just didn't like it, you know. And it was further contaminated by some of the weird grind and like some of the gameplay mechanics of 7. But I loved the remake or the remakes,
Remake was
except for the weird
fantastic.
battle at the end of the first one.
Yeah, they kind of did the same thing at the end of the second one too. It's weird. I wish it was.
Like the
I wish
first one, it was
less
like, remember
ham-handed.
that movie that we made that felt like it was kind of off the wall? Yeah, that wasn't that cool.
The ending of Rebirth felt very much like you played Kingdom Hearts and you really liked that, right? We're gonna do that.
Listen, I liked both.
And
Hey,
Kingdom
why-
Hearts is such
yeah.
a golden calf.
It really is.
People love it so much, and it's like, guys, they've already, like, for quite a while, it hasn't been the same thing because they haven't been given what amounts to a blank check from Disney.
Yeah.
Like, you can use all of our stuff, you can use all your characters, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. They haven't been able to do that in a long time. The stuff is still there, but
Yeah, Sky, I very much like Remake and Rebirth as well. I think they are very good games.
They're fantastic.
They are fantastic. I would not tell you that I don't like those games. There are some bits and pieces of them that are kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's fair.
The big set piece battles at the end are annoying in that I know that part of that is I play the original and those don't happen, so it's weird. Right, like
Probably just to give
especially
people
with-
an end game boss after completing a game, you know?
it is exactly that. And I can tell you that the original ending of OG7 is that. It is a big, ridiculous series of set piece battles you have to do that are fucking out of nowhere. They're great.
No.
Don't get me wrong. And in that sense, the 2 remakes do actually follow along with the formula of the original. It's just weird that it happens twice in the middle of the game now too.
Just their
like
way
I
of
say,
doing it, I guess.
I just think the very bombastic nature, the almost apocalypse nature that they present you with in that battle, this, ridiculous amalgam spirit creature thing that you are fighting and that you suddenly have super extra special powers,
Yeah, it's very much we needed to have the ending of a Final Fantasy game on our Final Fantasy game moment. And
Yeah.
I get it, but
I
it's
you
weird.
could have taken the like mutant Genova style thing that you have to face,
That's true.
You could have done
done
some
that,
sort of
yeah.
like it felt like it wasn't in world.
It did kind of
You
feel
know?
like it wasn't in world, yeah.
Pick something else to like go over the top with. It's not a matter of going over the top. It's like you grafted something in to use to go over the top. Was kind of how it felt to me. It looked cool. It played cool. Like that sequence. The rest of it I liked.
Yeah. I love the rest of the game from top to bottom though.
Yes.
I don't think except for the one little section of the game where you're climbing around to near the light source before you get up to the top plate. That dragged. That was the only part of the game I felt actually genuinely dragged, was that stupid we're infiltrating make a reactor 4 or whatever, the one where you
Yeah.
that little section dragged a little bit, but other than that, the game was very well paced. And Rebirth is well paced from beginning to end. There's lots of extra
Rebirth
stuff to
is
do,
the best
but
game I've ever played of all time.
yes, it's phenomenally well done.
Maybe someday I'll get to that one.
Please, can you stream it? I'm so serious.
But Sky, I was telling you that I would explain to you why I don't like Crisis Core, and I will do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
In the original, you have to understand, people who experience the original, not the remake, but the original, and you're about to experience this because you're about to play the original.
Uh-huh.
Cloud has 2 references in the entire game. Sorry, it's not Cloud. Zack has 2 references in the entire game.
Okay.
In one of them, he's just talking to Cloud about how he wants to be a mercenary.
Okay.
And in the other one, he's called a womanizer by Aerith. At no point in the game does he mention that he has a girlfriend named Aerith. I think he mentions he has a girlfriend at one point, but he never mentions her. He never talks about her like he's waiting to get back to her. There's no relationship there at all. The relationship that you get is Aerith and Cloud for the original. That is all a manufacturing of after the original game was released. They made that relationship a thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. They're just,
I
like,
don't think there's
fleshing it
anything-
out.
Not when it kind of ruins what the original game was telling as a story, in that Cloud and Aerith are mirror stories of each other, where she never gets to live a life until she meets Cloud, and then she goes out and she finds somebody who is willing to show her the world, and that's meaningful to her, and then, she dies, so she dies, so she is this person who never does anything wrong in the game up to that point, ends up being the victim of Sephiroth, and Cloud, who up to that point is a failure in everything that he does, meets Aerith, who convinces him he's capable of more than that, gets to watch her die for doing all the right thing. They are exact mirrors of each other, and introducing the concept of her having this boyfriend in the background who is all of the things Cloud thought he was, and she's secretly in love with him the entire time that she's interacting with Cloud, cheapens that whole relationship.
I guess so. I guess I just see it a bit differently, but that's okay.
But like I said,
I think
you
your
have a
version's
different
valid
perspective.
too, right?
You have a different perspective on that because in the version that you are playing, Zack is a character. He has dialogue that makes him a relatable person and interesting and all of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in that
It's just
version,
different.
it's not emphasizing that Cloud is being somebody that, he's trying so hard to be a different person. It is
Yeah,
emphasizing that Cloud is fucked up in the head, and that's about it.
Yeah, my memory of it was that Zack is introduced primarily in 7 to show you this is what Cloud thought he was or was trying to be,
Yeah, it is.
But
his
Zack
interest
is the person that Cloud is cosplaying as.
Yes, the first time you see Zack in OG, it is from the perspective of Sephiroth trying to convince Cloud that he is not who he thinks he is. As in, Cloud's a fake person, and the real person is this other guy named Zack, who is a real guy.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
and in Rebirth, they're not going that route. Cloud's already acknowledged that he knows that Zack is a person that's alive without Sephiroth ever saying the name Zack.
Yeah.
For me, is kind of sad because they executed the Cloud is masquerading really good at the beginning of the remake.
Yeah.
He is putting on the show. He is trying to be what he thinks he should be or thinks he is.
They did a good job too. I mean, I think they did that. They do a good job in Rebirth too, because he's still doing stuff that's he's still putting on the act in a lot of ways at certain times, but that is cracking over time. That's what I'm saying. One of the things I like about Remake is it is emphasizing that Aerith is softening all those corners throughout the entire game. Every time he interacts with her, him being in the beginning of the game, it's, I don't give a shit about any of this. I don't care about the world. I'm just here to get paid. And every time he interacts with her, some of that falls away, and he becomes more concerned with helping his friends, saving the world, doing the right thing, being a good person. not being a dick all the time.
The way that she interacts with him really has a, yeah, but that's BS.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She sees through all of that shit immediately, and that's what I like about the remake, is it emphasizes how much she does that. And that's there in the original, but without voice acting or, the emotional range that you can get in non-text based storytelling. You don't get as much of it there.
It is why for people that are making like modern old school RPGs, console RPGs or JRPGs, however we want to describe them, a large number of expressive character sprites is critical. It's something that like Danganronpa and now 100 Line do very well. If you can't do the voiceover, or even if you're doing the voiceover, show their expressions, because you can carry so much with facial expressions, body language, in addition to the voice work.
Yeah.
But if you remove that, where you just have this is the silly comic relief guy. What's his portrait? Silly comic relief goofiness. What's he saying? Tragedy.
Yeah. There is a character. So there's 2 games that came out a couple years ago that I wanted to encourage Sky to play at some point. Not soon, because she's got her vibe going still.
Gotta play OG.
Yeah, but there's a game called Chain of Echoes that is very good, and there's a game called Sea of Stars. Both of these games are relatively new. They're like 2003.
I've seen Sea of Stars, because I'm pretty sure Newt played it.
Played a bit of
You
it. Yeah.
did play some of it, yeah.
Still need to go back to that one too. God damn it.
Sea of Stars, by the way, has the same mechanics as Expedition 33, and nobody was fawning over that one as if it was some return to form for RPGs.
Because it was a anime-styled sprite game.
Yes, and apparently that is just an unforgivable sin for these people who demand that we return to the ways of old. But I have said this before, and I will say it again. I like Sea of Stars, but Sea of Stars feels like a eulogy for JRPGs, old school JRPGs, because it is all of those games in massive references. Everything is a reference to an old RPG. The mechanic is an old reference to an old RPG. The storylines are references to old RPGs. The sprites often are almost directly pulled from old JRPGs. It's great. I love all of it, but it is not advancing the genre at all. It is just paying homage at every corner to the thing that it loves. Cool.
I think there's merit to that, though. I feel like Sea of Stars did take a lot of that and like polished it in its presentation.
Sure, but it's also a game that's like 15 years after the games it's paying homage to, right? If it wasn't polished, it would look like garbage. By today's standards, anyways.
I mean, that is a problem with a lot of them, though, is that we'll see a lot of like, we hearken back to the times of old, like we were talking about with RTS, where it's like, we are paying tribute to Command and Conquer. How do we do that? By putting all the terrible things from Command and Conquer in the game.
And to the credit of Sea of Stars, it does not do that. It does not bring back all the terrible old things. But it also does not, like I said, move that forward at all. Yeah. It is paying homage to all the cool things that it used to love, which makes a great game. But I feel like Chained Echoes was a legitimate attempt to move that genre forward by having weird mechanics and a storyline that is intricate and bizarre and doesn't try to follow a lot of the tropes of JRPGs and things like that. It doesn't really have a lot of references to other games in it. It is its own little thing with its own system, and they're well done. And I would personally rather have that 10 times over than, frankly, another remaster of an old JRPG.
Yeah.
Give me something new.
Why, as much as I would love to see a modern port of Xenogears, I would rather like to see a new take on what Xenogears represented.
I feel like they
I
would
be
do that.
I would be okay with that too. I would also be okay with I'm also okay with the full Final Fantasy VII style remake concept for a game
Yeah.
like that as well. I mean,
If you were going to remaster it, you would need to do a remake. If for no other reason than the we chopped the game in half and still released it thing.
Yes, yes. But I mean, like, in that sense, I think what they were trying to achieve when they were making that game was they wanted to have two different types of combat. One of them is like a martial arts beat 'em up style combat with the combo system when you're on the ground. And the other one was this we want big chunky robots fist fighting each other and using like laser cannons and weird mecha magic as their secondary thing. And that was cool. And if you were going to do that, you could have that be like a whole different first-person shooter mech style thing if you wanted. I don't care, but like, you know, if you're going to remake that game, make both of the systems. You no longer have those limitations. Oh yeah, Xenogears was a wild, wild experience. It had three combinations of things that I love the most. First of all, Xenogears is the game that inspired me to get my degree in psychology. That is how weird and deep the plot is. It's fucking strange. The main character is if he was not as well executed as he is a hat on a hat character 7 ways from Sunday. He's like 9 different characters in one. He's cool. But then like there's also it was one of the very first RPGs out there that was 2D, 3D. So the sprites for all the characters are 2D. They're very animated. They have really cool, like when they're having conversations with each other, they have like really well done anime art for each character with a lot of expressions, just like the 100 line and stuff.
Yeah, that nice PSX character portraits, as well as the expressive sprite animations. Like definitely past the Final Fantasy VI era of they have, 3 stock animations that they use for everything.
Yeah. There's that, and then there was also the fact that the story was not afraid to go places that I think a lot of games are afraid to go because they're afraid that they're going to make a story that is above other people's heads. The main story involves space travel, an AI that is from another world or from another dimension, God, and a religious faction that is dead set on like effectively causing the end of the world in order to, or the end of the human race in order to bring about its own version of the Messiah. So like there's a lot happening at all times in that game.
Thanks for joining us, Barbara.
And
get some sleep.
It had a lot of heart in it. There's a lot that's going on. It's not a finished game. If you do ever play it, understand it's not a finished game. It was never a finished game. So it's brutal.
What was it? You get to a particular point, and then it's largely just here, we're going to sit here and we're going to rapid fire narrate a good portion of the remainder of the plot.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that happens, but yes, once you beat disc, I think it's disc 1, because it's a 2-disc game, I think. Ending disc 1 is literally like disc 2 starts with the main character sitting in a chair going, and then I'm going to describe the events of the war that followed what we just played, because we don't have time to do any of that.
Oh man, all this awesome stuff is happening off camera. Wish I could show you.
Yep. To be fair, though, I mean, it goes back and then he's like, here's the important awesome stuff that happened, and you do play that part of the game, and then it's like, and then we go back to the narration because some more cool stuff needs to happen so that the ending of the game makes sense. Very sad.
I have to play more games like that, honestly. I just have to play more games in general. Be exposed, culture myself.
There are a lot of titles that kind of exist in like little bubbles, little fandom bubbles.
Yeah.
Like Undertale gets a lot of like really frontline stuff as far as like it's really visible in pop culture. but when you look at it, it is a very niche
Oh my god, there's
title.
boobs on stream. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Stop streaming the things.
Well, I was just trying to. Why are there boob?
Well,
Like
it's a
naked
video
boob.
game. People like to
There's
make
been
a
a-
boob.
There. Is this? I just
It's like
switched
an
it on
anomaly
to look.
one.
Yeah, it is an anomaly, but it is like anomalies in classic paintings.
Yeah. All right, here. What I'm gonna do, because I'm EP anyways, I'm gonna say goodnight to chat, and then I'm gonna end stream really fast. I'll be right back.
I think I will wrap up there as well.
Okay.
So
I'm not
thanks
gonna
for
lie,
joining us,
I kind of
everybody.
forgot we were streaming.
It's okay. That was part of the plan of this stream. Is we're going to talk about Gamescom and likely all kinds of other stuff. Is a chat and stream.
Yes.
But all right, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. I'll see you next time.
I have returned.
Were you dead?
Was I dead?
Yeah.
No, I
Did you
didn't die.
return from the grave?
Oh yeah, I mean technically yes. Technically speaking,
It is in your lore.
it is in my lore.